You ever notice how certain people just seem to command respect, no matter where they go? There's something about them, something in the way they carry themselves, speak, or handle difficult situations that makes others take them seriously. It's not about wealth, fame, or even power. It's about how they live their lives, the habits they've cultivated, and perhaps even more importantly, the habits they've managed to avoid. The truth is, respect isn't something you can force out of people. It's something you earn through the way you treat yourself and how you interact with the world. Unfortunately, many people unknowingly adopt habits that slowly erode the respect they deserve. These are the everyday behaviors that seem harmless on the surface, but build up over time, creating a gap between how we want to be seen and how others actually view us. And once that respect is lost, it's a long road to gaining it back. Now, let's talk about something powerful: self-respect. It's not just some feel-good concept, it's the foundation of earning respect from others. When you respect yourself, you set the standard for how others will treat you. Every time you compromise your values, every time you allow negative habits to take root, you give people permission to treat you the same way you treat yourself. And this, my friend, is where the trouble begins. Stoic philosophy teaches us that much of what happens in life is outside our control, but how we react to it, that's entirely within our power. This idea is central to understanding why certain habits lead to disrespect. Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardship or keeping a stiff upper lip. It's about cultivating a mindset that helps you rise above the petty behaviors that diminish your dignity, that lead people to disregard your value, and that make it harder for you to demand the respect you deserve. So, what are these habits, and why are they so destructive? Well, think of the person who constantly seeks approval, bending over backward to make everyone happy but themselves, or the one who apologizes for every little thing, even when they've done nothing wrong. These habits may seem like no big deal, but over time they undermine your confidence and signal to others that you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why should anyone else? Let's not sugarcoat it. Earning respect takes work. It means being willing to look in the mirror and confront the habits that keep you from becoming the person you're meant to be. It requires self-awareness and a commitment to personal growth. But the good news, the power to change is entirely in your hands. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about being willing to shed the behaviors that are holding you back from living a life of integrity, strength, and, yes, respect. And here's where Stoicism offers us a lifeline. Stoics believed in focusing on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, our choices. By doing so, they believed we could cultivate resilience, wisdom, and most importantly, a deep sense of self-respect. When you begin to adopt this mindset, you stop allowing outside forces, people's opinions, circumstances, or fleeting emotions to dictate your worth. Instead, you begin to carry yourself with a quiet confidence, knowing that your value isn't determined by external validation, but by how true you are to yourself. And when you do this, others will notice. People are drawn to those who are grounded, who don't waver in their principles, and who don't compromise their self-respect for fleeting approval or momentary comfort. But here's the thing: respect isn't just about you. It's about how you interact with the world around you. The way you treat others is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. When you're constantly seeking validation or allowing others to overstep your boundaries, it sends a clear message, one that tells people they don't have to respect you. And over time, this chips away at your relationships, your confidence, and your ability to stand tall in the face of life's challenges. Stoicism teaches us the importance of boundaries. It's not selfish to protect your time, your energy, or your emotional well-being. In fact, It's necessary if you want to live a life of integrity. Setting boundaries doesn't make you rude, it makes you wise. It shows others that you value yourself enough not to tolerate disrespect, and it teaches them how to treat you in return. And speaking of boundaries, how often do we find ourselves saying yes when we really mean no? How often do we sacrifice our own needs to please others, thinking that by doing so, we'll be liked or respected? The irony is, the more you bend to please everyone, the less respect you command. Stoic wisdom reminds us that true strength lies in being able to say no when it's necessary, not out of defiance, but out of respect for ourselves. One of the greatest lessons Stoicism offers is the power of silence. We live in a world that values noise, constant chatter, endless opinions, and the urge to fill every moment with sound. But Stoics understood that silence, used wisely, is a powerful tool. Not every argument needs a response. Not every situation requires you to defend yourself. Sometimes the greatest strength you can show is restraint, knowing when to speak and when to hold your peace. It's in those quiet moments of reflection that you gain clarity, and through that clarity, you command a deeper level of respect. Let's face it, in our fast-paced, opinionated world, decisiveness is often mistaken for aggression and silence for weakness. But Stoics knew better. They knew that true respect is earned through thoughtful actions, not empty words. When you act with purpose, people take notice. When you follow through on your commitments, when you show up consistently, when you speak only when necessary, you become someone others look up to, someone others trust. And yet, how many of us struggle with indecision? How many times do we second-guess ourselves, waiting for someone else to validate our choices? Indecisiveness doesn't just breed confusion, it breeds disrespect. People respect those who know what they stand for, who aren't afraid to make a choice and stick with it. Stoicism teaches us that life is full of uncertainty, but that doesn't mean we should hesitate. It means we should act with courage and conviction, trusting that, even if we don't have all the answers, we're moving in the right direction. Ultimately, respect is built through action. You can talk about being strong, about having integrity, about living with purpose, but if your actions don't reflect those values, no one will take you seriously. Stoicism teaches us to lead by example, to let our actions speak louder than our words. When you live with integrity, when you keep your promises, when you act with consistency, you naturally earn the respect of those around you. But respect is fragile. It can be lost as quickly as it's gained. The habits we let slide, the behaviors we ignore, they all add up. And before you know it, the respect you worked so hard to earn begins to slip away. That's why this journey isn't just about changing how others see you, it's about changing how you see yourself. As you begin to confront these habits head-on, as you start to let go of the behaviors that no longer serve you, something amazing happens. You start to reclaim your power. You start to walk through life with a sense of purpose and confidence that others can't help but notice. And when you respect yourself, when you truly honor your own worth, others will follow. This isn't about quick fixes or surface-level changes. It's about doing the deep work of transformation, of letting go of the habits that hold you back and embracing the mindset that will elevate you. And trust me, once you begin this journey, you'll never want to go back. So, are you ready to step into your power? Are you ready to live a life that commands the respect you deserve? It's time to dig deep, to confront those habits that have been keeping you small and to rise above them. Because once you do, you'll find that the world will treat you exactly the way you've always wanted to be treated, with respect. Now that you've had a taste of what's to come, it's time to dive deeper. We've touched on how powerful self-respect is and how easily it can slip away when we aren't careful. But this isn't just about holding on to respect. It's about recognizing the habits that sabotage it. There's a reason why people find themselves stuck in cycles of disrespect, and more often than not, it's because they've allowed habits to creep in that slowly erode their sense of self-worth. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, shows us exactly how to break these patterns. Stoic philosophy doesn't sugarcoat the truth. It teaches that we are often the architects of our own downfalls, particularly when it comes to respect. Respect isn't something we ask for. It's something we cultivate through our actions, decisions, and character. The habits we form, both good and bad, are the building blocks of the way others view us. And when those habits lead to disrespect, it's up to us to change them. Stoics believe that many of the habits that cause disrespect come from a lack of awareness. People drift through life, unaware of how their actions affect others, or more importantly, how they affect themselves. Stoicism teaches us to become deeply mindful of our thoughts and behaviors. By doing so, we can identify and eliminate the habits that push people away, even if those habits have been with us for years. One of the first habits Stoicism challenges is the constant need for external validation. People who seek approval from others often lose themselves in the process. They bend, they compromise, and they sacrifice their values just to gain a fleeting sense of acceptance. Stoics warn against this mindset, teaching that true respect can never come from the outside. It has to be earned within. When you stop chasing others' approval, you stop giving them the power to control how you feel about yourself. Another habit that leads to disrespect is over-apologizing. This doesn't mean Stoics believe you should never apologize, far from it. But constantly apologizing, especially when you've done nothing wrong, diminishes your value in others' eyes. Stoicism teaches that apologies should be meaningful, rooted in genuine reflection. Apologizing for every small mistake or imagined slight signals insecurity, which invites others to see you as less confident and therefore less worthy of respect. Stoicism also speaks to the importance of controlling your emotions. People who react impulsively, who let anger or frustration get the best of them, often find themselves disrespected. Stoics believe that true power comes from self-control. When you master your emotions, you don't let outside forces dictate how you feel or how you behave. And when you maintain this calmness, others will naturally respect your ability to stay composed, even in difficult situations. Negativity is another habit that Stoicism teaches us to eliminate. People who constantly complain or focus on what's wrong tend to repel others. Stoics instead focus on gratitude and perspective. By changing how you view the world and focusing on what you can control, you not only improve your own life, but you also make yourself someone others want to be around. This shift in mindset makes it easier to earn respect, as people are drawn to those who radiate calm and optimism, even in the face of adversity. A lack of boundaries is a major cause of disrespect, and Stoicism emphasizes the importance of setting and maintaining them. When you don't protect your own time, energy, and well-being, people will inevitably take advantage of you. Stoics teach that you must value yourself enough to say no when necessary, not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. When others see that you respect your own limits, they're more likely to respect them as well. Talking too much is another habit that leads to disrespect, according to Stoicism. People who dominate conversations or always feel the need to share their opinion often come across as insecure. Stoicism values the power of silence, of speaking only when necessary, and of listening more than you talk. By choosing your words carefully and allowing others to speak, you show that you respect their thoughts and opinions, and in return, they'll respect yours. One of the key lessons of Stoicism is to eliminate indecision. People who can't make up their minds, who waver back and forth, often lose the respect of those around them. Stoics believe in acting with purpose. Even if you don't have all the information, it's better to make a decision and move forward than to remain stuck in uncertainty. Confidence in decision-making shows strength, and others will respect you more for it. Stoicism also teaches us to avoid being overly agreeable. People who constantly try to please others at the expense of their own values end up feeling resentful and disrespected. Stoics believe in standing firm in your principles. You can still be kind and compassionate without compromising your values. When you stop trying to make everyone happy and start living according to your own beliefs, you gain the respect of those who admire your integrity. One of the most damaging habits Stoicism warns against is gossip. Talking about others behind their backs not only damages your relationships, but also damages your reputation. Stoics teach that you should focus on improving yourself, not tearing others down. By refusing to engage in gossip, you show that you're someone of integrity, and that's something others will respect. Handling criticism well is another area where Stoicism provides valuable insights. Many people react defensively when they're criticized, but Stoics believe that criticism is an opportunity for growth. By accepting feedback without letting it affect your self-worth, you demonstrate a level of maturity and self-awareness that earns respect. People admire those who can take criticism in stride and use it to become better. Stoicism also teaches us the importance of detachment. When you're too emotionally invested in others' opinions or in outcomes you can't control, you set yourself up for disappointment and disrespect. Detaching doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting things outside your control dictate your happiness. When others see that you're not easily swayed by external events, they'll respect your inner strength. Another important lesson from Stoicism is to stop seeking sympathy. People who constantly play the victim, who always look for others to validate their struggles, often find themselves disrespected. Stoics believe in taking responsibility for your own life, for your own happiness. By owning your challenges and refusing to blame others, you demonstrate a strength that others will naturally respect. Stoics also teach us to eliminate the habit of complaining. When you complain, you give away your power. You focus on what's wrong instead of what you can change. By adopting a Stoic mindset, you shift your focus to what you can control, which not only helps you feel more empowered, but also earns you the respect of others who see you as resilient and solution-oriented. Being late is another habit that leads to disrespect. When you don't honor others' time, you show them that you don't value it. Stoics believe in punctuality as a sign of respect. By being reliable and showing up when you say you will, you demonstrate that you respect others, and in turn, they will respect you. Procrastination is a habit that Stoicism urges us to overcome. When you put things off, it signals to others that you're not taking responsibility for your commitments. Stoics believe in taking action immediately and not delaying what needs to be done. This sense of urgency shows that you're reliable and that you take your responsibilities seriously, which earns you respect. The habit of interrupting others is something Stoicism teaches us to avoid. When you constantly cut people off in conversations, it shows that you're more interested in what you have to say than in what they're saying. Stoics value patience and listening. By allowing others to speak without interruption, you show respect for their ideas, and they'll return that respect in kind. Stoicism also teaches us to avoid reacting impulsively. People who fly off the handle at the slightest provocation often lose the respect of others. Stoics believe in taking a moment to pause before reacting, allowing reason to guide your response. This calmness under pressure shows emotional maturity and earns the respect of those around you. One final habit Stoicism teaches us to eliminate is envy. People who are constantly comparing themselves to others and feeling resentful of others' success often find themselves isolated and disrespected. Stoics believe in focusing on your own path, on what you can control, and on celebrating others' successes without letting it diminish your own sense of worth. By doing so, you show confidence in your own journey, and that's something others will respect. Through Stoicism, we learn that respect is earned not through demanding it, but through cultivating habits that align with our values. By eliminating the habits that undermine our self-worth and our relationships, we not only earn the respect of others, but more importantly, we gain respect for ourselves. And that, in the end, is the foundation of a life well lived. As we leave behind the exploration of the habits that erode respect, one truth becomes crystal clear. Respect begins within. No matter how much we strive to change external circumstances or adjust how others see us, it all comes back to one core principle: self-respect. Without it, every effort to earn the respect of others is like trying to fill a broken cup. It's this inner foundation that Stoics hold dear, and they believe that self-respect is not only crucial, but the very cornerstone of commanding the respect of those around us. The Stoics were adamant that everything starts with how we view ourselves. If there is no solid grounding in self-respect, every action we take in search of respect from others falls flat. When people see that we don't honor ourselves, they will instinctively reflect that lack of respect back at us. Stoicism teaches that self-respect is the root from which all outward respect grows. Without nurturing this within, we leave ourselves vulnerable to disrespect from others. At the heart of self-respect is integrity. Stoics teach that living in accordance with your principles is non-negotiable. When you are true to your values, no matter the pressures around you, you build an unshakable sense of self-worth. It's this steadfast adherence to your beliefs that makes others respect you. If you compromise, even slightly, for the sake of acceptance or convenience, it signals to others that your values can be bent. And if you won't stand firm for your own values, why should anyone else? Stoicism also emphasizes personal responsibility. To respect yourself, you must take full ownership of your actions, your choices, and your reactions. Blaming others or circumstances for your shortcomings undermines your sense of control over your life. When you own your mistakes and take responsibility for correcting them, you show not only self-respect, but also strength, and others will respect your ability to take charge of your life. Self-respect means setting clear boundaries. Stoics teach that you must guard your time, energy, and well-being with the same vigilance that you guard your most prized possessions. When you allow others to overstep your boundaries, you diminish your own worth. The ability to say no firmly and confidently is one of the most powerful ways to demonstrate self-respect. Others may test those boundaries, but when they see that you stand firm, they begin to understand that you value yourself, and in turn, they begin to value you more. A key part of self-respect is self-discipline. Stoicism teaches that without self-discipline, we are easily swayed by our desires and impulses, which leads to behavior that erodes both self-respect and the respect others have for us. When you practice self-discipline, whether it's in how you manage your emotions, your time, or your resources, you demonstrate control over yourself, and that sense of control is deeply tied to respect. Living with purpose is another pillar of self-respect. The Stoics believed that each of us must live in alignment with a higher purpose, something greater than fleeting pleasures or momentary satisfactions. When you have a clear sense of purpose, you naturally gain self-respect because you know that your life has meaning. Others are drawn to people who live with purpose because it signals focus and determination, qualities that inevitably inspire respect. Part of earning self-respect is being mindful of how you speak to yourself. The Stoics understood that our inner dialogue has a profound impact on our sense of self-worth. If you constantly criticize or belittle yourself, you're chipping away at your own self-respect. Stoicism encourages you to practice kindness and patience with yourself, to recognize your worth even in the face of challenges. This internal respect radiates outward, making it easier for others to respect you in return. Self-respect also means accepting your flaws without letting them define you. The Stoics didn't believe in perfection, they believed in progress. To respect yourself, you must acknowledge your imperfections, but you also need to commit to improving yourself without harsh judgment. This balance of self-awareness and self-compassion makes you more resilient, and resilience is a trait that others naturally respect. Consistency is key to self-respect. Stoicism teaches that living consistently with your values, no matter the situation, strengthens your inner sense of worth. When your actions align with your beliefs, you create harmony within yourself. This consistency over time builds trust, not only within yourself, but in the way others perceive you. People respect those who are dependable, who live what they preach. Respect for oneself is also closely tied to how we manage failure. Stoics believe that failure is not something to fear or be ashamed of, but an opportunity for growth. When you view setbacks as learning experiences rather than personal defeats, you strengthen your self-respect. You show others that your worth is not diminished by temporary failure, and this resilience commands respect. One of the most profound aspects of self-respect in Stoicism is the understanding of impermanence. Stoics remind us that nothing in life is permanent, including people's opinions of us. When you respect yourself, you're less swayed by the shifting judgments of others because you're anchored in something deeper. This detachment from external validation allows you to maintain your self-respect even when the world around you is unpredictable. A critical lesson from Stoicism is that self-respect requires you to let go of comparison. Comparing yourself to others is a habit that undermines your self-worth. Stoicism teaches that each person's path is unique, and the only person you should measure yourself against is who you were yesterday. When you stop comparing, you free yourself from the constant anxiety of trying to measure up, and this inner peace fosters greater respect for yourself and, consequently, from others. Another dimension of self-respect is the ability to forgive yourself. Stoics knew that holding on to guilt or shame can eat away at your sense of self-worth. Forgiveness, according to Stoicism, doesn't mean excusing your mistakes. It means accepting them, learning from them, and moving forward. By forgiving yourself, you release the heavy burden of the past and open the door to growth, which naturally leads to greater respect from others. Self-respect also involves taking care of your physical and mental well-being. Stoics believed in the unity of mind and body, and that neglecting one affects the other. When you prioritize your health, not out of vanity, but out of respect for the gift of life, you demonstrate to yourself and others that you value who you are. This respect for your well-being encourages others to treat you with the same care. In Stoicism, self-respect also means not allowing others to define your worth. Too often, people give away their power by letting others' opinions shape how they see themselves. Stoicism teaches that your value comes from within, from living in alignment with virtue and wisdom, not from the approval of others. By holding on to this inner sense of worth, you naturally command the respect of those around you, because you refuse to be diminished by outside opinions. Self-respect requires patience, both with yourself and with the process of growth. Stoics teach that personal development is a lifelong journey, and you must be patient as you work toward becoming the person you aspire to be. Rushing the process or being harsh with yourself when progress seems slow only erodes your self-respect. When you practice patience, you allow space for growth, which in turn fosters a deeper sense of self-worth. Another aspect of self-respect is knowing your value in relationships. Stoicism teaches that you should never settle for less than you deserve, whether in friendships, romantic relationships, or professional interactions. When you know your worth, you don't tolerate mistreatment or disrespect from others. This firmness in your value sends a strong message that you won't allow others to undermine your dignity. Stoicism also encourages us to focus on our inner virtues rather than external successes. Too often, people tie their self-worth to their achievements, but Stoics knew that this is a fragile foundation for respect. Real self-respect comes from cultivating virtues like kindness, wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. When you focus on these internal qualities, you build a lasting sense of worth that others can't help but respect. Maintaining self-respect means knowing when to walk away from situations or people that no longer serve you. Stoics teach that you are responsible for your own peace of mind, and that sometimes the most respectful thing you can do for yourself is to let go of toxic relationships or environments. When you prioritize your well-being in this way, you set a powerful example for others. Another cornerstone of self-respect is honesty. Stoics believed that living truthfully, both with yourself and others, is essential to maintaining integrity. When you are honest about who you are, what you want, and what you believe in, you build trust not only within yourself, but in your relationships. Honesty fosters respect because it shows that you are not afraid to stand in your truth, even when it's difficult. In Stoicism, self-respect also involves cultivating a sense of gratitude. When you appreciate what you have and who you are, you naturally strengthen your sense of self-worth. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life, and this mindset of abundance makes you more resilient, more grounded, and more respected by others. Part of self-respect is the ability to handle criticism with grace. Stoicism teaches that criticism is inevitable, but it doesn't have to define you. When you are secure in your self-respect, you can listen to criticism without letting it shake your sense of worth. Instead, you take what's useful, discard the rest, and move forward with confidence. This level-headedness earns the respect of those around you. Self-respect also means trusting yourself. Stoics believe that you must cultivate trust in your own judgment, in your ability to make the right decisions, and in your capacity to handle whatever life throws at you. When you trust yourself, you radiate confidence, and this self-assurance naturally attracts respect from others. Ultimately, self-respect is about living in harmony with your highest self. Stoicism teaches that we all have the potential to rise above the pettiness, insecurities, and distractions that often cloud our judgment. When you align your actions with your values, when you practice self-discipline and patience, when you trust in your own worth, you create a life that commands respect, not through force, but through the quiet strength of integrity. As we close the chapter on self-respect, it becomes clear that a strong sense of self-worth is vital to earning respect from others. But what happens when our behaviors, even unconsciously, begin to push people away? Stoicism holds that just as we must build positive habits, we must also work tirelessly to remove negative ones that silently erode our relationships. These are the behaviors that may seem small, yet over time they distance us from those we care about and make it harder to command respect. The Stoic approach to removing these toxic patterns is both practical and powerful, offering us the tools to rid ourselves of habits that isolate us and undermine our connections. At the heart of the Stoic philosophy is the belief that we are responsible for our actions. Negative behaviors don't appear out of nowhere. They arise from within, often unchecked and unnoticed. One such behavior that Stoicism addresses is the tendency to act impulsively. People often react without thinking, letting emotions dictate their responses. This impulsivity leads to actions and words that alienate others, creating barriers that are hard to break down. Stoicism teaches us to slow down, to pause, and to evaluate before we react. This control over our impulses allows us to act with intention, fostering better relationships instead of pushing people away through hasty, thoughtless actions. Another negative behavior that Stoicism encourages us to remove is blaming others for our problems. When we constantly shift responsibility, we not only lose control over our own lives, but also push people away with our lack of accountability. Stoics believe in owning our experiences, good and bad. By taking responsibility, we demonstrate maturity, and people respect us for it. Blaming, on the other hand, is a surefire way to erode trust and create distance, as others begin to see us as unwilling to confront our own flaws. Stoicism also warns against the habit of complaining. Constant negativity not only weighs you down, but also pushes others away. People don't gravitate toward those who focus solely on what's wrong. Stoics emphasize gratitude and acceptance of what we cannot change. By focusing on what is within our control and accepting what isn't, we become people who inspire rather than repel. Complaining, by contrast, keeps us stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction, and others will begin to distance themselves from that energy. One of the most insidious negative behaviors that Stoicism helps us address is gossip. Talking behind others' backs may seem harmless at the moment, but it creates an atmosphere of distrust. Stoicism encourages us to focus on our own behavior rather than judging others. When we engage in gossip, we signal to others that we cannot be trusted to hold their confidence. This inevitably creates a divide, as people will pull away from someone who spreads negativity behind their back. Another behavior that pushes people away, according to Stoic teachings, is arrogance. When we elevate ourselves above others, we create a rift in our relationships. Stoicism teaches humility, reminding us that no one is inherently superior or inferior. Everyone is fighting their own internal battles, and to act as though we are above them only isolates us. True strength, according to Stoics, comes from recognizing our shared humanity and treating others as equals. Stoicism also advises us to avoid emotional manipulation. Sometimes people use emotions to control or guilt others into acting a certain way. This tactic, while effective in the short term, inevitably pushes people away. Stoics believe in clear communication and honesty, trusting that true connection comes from mutual respect, not manipulation. When we resort to emotional tactics, we create a relationship built on distrust and resentment, pushing people further away with each attempt to control. Passive aggressiveness is another behavior that damages relationships. Stoicism encourages directness and clarity. When we express our needs or concerns indirectly, through sarcasm or subtle digs, we confuse and alienate those around us. Stoics believe in addressing issues head-on, with kindness and honesty. This approach strengthens relationships, whereas passive aggressiveness slowly deteriorates them, leaving people feeling unsure and disconnected. A key aspect of Stoicism is the practice of detachment from outcomes, but many people fall into the habit of trying to control every situation. When we are overly controlling, we stifle others and damage our relationships. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and responses, while accepting that we cannot dictate the actions of others. By letting go of control, we allow our relationships to breathe and grow. Those who try to control every detail of their interactions often find themselves isolated, as people instinctively pull away from such suffocating behavior. Stoicism also highlights the importance of not taking things personally. People who constantly assume that others' actions are directed at them often push others away with their insecurity. Stoicism teaches that most things people do have little to do with us and everything to do with them. By not internalizing every comment or action, we free ourselves from unnecessary emotional burden and allow others to be themselves without fear of being misunderstood. Another negative behavior is dishonesty. Even small lies over time erode trust. Stoicism places a high value on truth and integrity. When we are consistently honest, even when it's uncomfortable, we build stronger, more respectful relationships. Dishonesty, on the other hand, leads to mistrust and distance as people become wary of our words and actions. Stoicism also addresses the habit of seeking constant validation from others. When we look outside ourselves for approval, we inevitably push people away because we create a sense of neediness. Stoicism teaches that true validation comes from within. By cultivating self-respect and self-awareness, we no longer rely on others to affirm our worth. This inner confidence naturally draws people toward us, as they respect someone who stands firm in their own value without seeking external approval. Neglecting to listen is another behavior that harms relationships. Stoicism encourages active listening, truly hearing others without the need to interrupt or impose our own thoughts. People who constantly talk over others or fail to listen push people away because they signal that they don't value others' perspectives. When we listen with intention and respect, we invite connection and mutual respect. Reacting with anger is another negative behavior Stoicism teaches us to manage. While anger is a natural emotion, unchecked anger destroys relationships. Stoics believe in mastering one's emotions, particularly in difficult situations. When we respond with calmness and reason rather than anger, we keep our relationships intact and foster a sense of safety. People are more likely to stay connected with someone who remains calm under pressure rather than someone who lashes out. Stoicism also encourages us to avoid playing the victim. People who constantly portray themselves as helpless or wronged by others often push people away. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we are responsible for how we respond. By taking ownership of our lives and refusing to wallow in self-pity, we show strength, which naturally attracts others rather than repelling them. The habit of over-explaining or defending oneself constantly is another behavior Stoicism advises us to avoid. When we feel the need to justify every action or decision, we communicate insecurity. Stoics teach that your actions should speak for themselves. If you are living in accordance with your values, there's no need to over-explain. Constantly defending yourself pushes people away, as it creates unnecessary tension in the relationship. A lack of gratitude is another habit that drives people away. Stoicism teaches the power of gratitude, not just for the good things, but for life's challenges as well. When we fail to express gratitude, especially for the people in our lives, we create a sense of distance. Gratitude strengthens relationships by acknowledging the positive impact others have on us. Without it, people feel unappreciated and are more likely to withdraw. One behavior that quietly pushes people away is a lack of boundaries. When you don't set clear limits on how others can treat you, you invite disrespect and resentment. Stoicism teaches the importance of protecting your peace and well-being. Setting boundaries isn't about being harsh, it's about showing others how to respect you. Without boundaries, people will unknowingly overstep, leading to frustration and distance. Stoicism also teaches us to let go of perfectionism. The constant need to appear perfect not only exhausts us, but also pushes others away. People are drawn to authenticity, not perfection. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and human, we invite connection. Stoicism encourages us to accept our flaws and imperfections with grace. which makes others feel comfortable being themselves around us. Jealousy is another behavior that erodes relationships. Stoicism teaches that comparing yourself to others only leads to dissatisfaction. By focusing on your own path and being content with what you have, you remove the toxic grip of jealousy. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves and not constantly envious of others' success. Jealousy pushes people away because it creates tension and competition where there should be mutual support. Another behavior to eliminate is constant judgment. Stoicism teaches that we should avoid judging others because we never know the full story. When we pass judgment, we alienate others and create a divide. People are more likely to trust and respect those who offer understanding rather than criticism. By letting go of the need to judge, we open ourselves to deeper connections and mutual respect. Stoicism also advises us to stop holding grudges. Holding on to resentment only harms us and our relationships. When we cling to past wrongs, we prevent healing and push people away. Stoics believe in forgiveness, not for the sake of the other person, but for our own peace. By letting go of grudges, we free ourselves from the weight of resentment and create space for healthier, more respectful relationships. An overlooked behavior that pushes people away is overpromising and under-delivering. When we make promises we can't keep, we lose credibility. Stoicism teaches the importance of being reliable and consistent. By only committing to what we know we can follow through on, we build trust. Overpromising erodes respect because it shows that we lack the self-discipline to meet our commitments. Another behavior that Stoicism teaches us to eliminate is stubbornness. While it's important to stand by your principles, being inflexible can push people away. Stoicism encourages open-mindedness and a willingness to adapt when necessary. By being too rigid, we prevent growth in our relationships. Flexibility, combined with integrity, fosters respect and understanding. Finally, Stoicism advises us to let go of fear-based decision-making. When we allow fear to guide our choices, we often act in ways that are not true to ourselves, which creates internal conflict and external tension. Stoicism teaches us to face our fears head-on and make decisions based on reason, not emotion. When we act courageously, we strengthen our relationships and earn the respect of those around us. In removing these negative behaviors, Stoicism doesn't ask us to become perfect, but it does challenge us to become aware. Through awareness, we can take control of our actions and begin to foster the kinds of connections that lead to deeper respect and stronger relationships. As we've uncovered the ways in which negative behaviors can push others away, one key element stands out: the relentless pursuit of approval. This need for validation from others is more damaging than most realize. It can lead to subtle forms of self-betrayal, causing you to act against your true nature, eroding not just self-respect, but the respect others might have for you. Stoicism addresses this deeply human tendency to seek approval and teaches us that by grounding ourselves in inner strength and self-reliance, we can break free from the constant need for others' affirmation. The desire for approval often stems from a sense of insecurity, a feeling that our worth is not enough unless it is validated by others. Stoicism challenges this belief by reminding us that our value does not come from external sources. When we constantly look outward for approval, we lose sight of our own inner worth. Stoics teach that real strength comes from within, and that no amount of external validation can ever replace a deep-rooted sense of self-confidence. By turning inward and trusting ourselves, we begin to dismantle the hold that approval-seeking has on us. One of the key problems with seeking approval is that it makes you vulnerable to manipulation. When others sense that you're desperate for their validation, they can easily control or influence you. Stoicism warns against giving away this kind of power. By constantly seeking approval, you allow others to dictate your actions, pulling you further away from your authentic self. Stoics, instead, encourage you to be guided by your own principles, creating a strong foundation that cannot be swayed by others' opinions or manipulations. Stoicism also teaches that seeking approval can lead to inconsistency. When you're always adjusting your behavior to gain the favor of others, you lose the ability to act with integrity. You begin to change your values or opinions depending on who you're trying to impress. This inconsistency makes it difficult for others to respect you because they can sense that you're not grounded in your beliefs. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living consistently according to your principles, regardless of who is watching or what others might think. Another reason seeking approval leads to disrespect is that it communicates a lack of self-trust. When you constantly look to others for validation, you signal that you don't trust your own judgment. People are more likely to respect those who trust themselves and their decisions. Stoicism teaches that we must develop confidence in our ability to make sound choices, even if those choices are unpopular. By standing firm in our beliefs, we show others that we are worthy of respect, regardless of their approval. Seeking approval also diminishes your ability to set boundaries. When you're too concerned with what others think, you may compromise your values or allow people to overstep your limits just to avoid disapproval. Stoicism teaches that boundaries are essential for maintaining self-respect. By setting clear limits and sticking to them, regardless of how others may react, you demonstrate that you respect yourself enough to protect your well-being. This kind of strength naturally earns the respect of others. One of the most damaging aspects of approval seeking is that it creates a constant state of anxiety. When your sense of worth is tied to others' opinions, you live in fear of losing their approval. Stoicism teaches that this anxiety is unnecessary and self-destructive. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control what others think of us, and that true peace comes from letting go of the need for external validation. When we release ourselves from this burden, we free ourselves to live authentically and without fear. Another consequence of seeking approval is that it leads to self-sacrifice. In an effort to gain others' favor, you may find yourself doing things that go against your own best interests. You might take on tasks or agree to requests that you don't really want to, just to avoid disappointing others. Stoicism teaches that this kind of self-sacrifice is harmful in the long run, as it erodes your self-respect and creates resentment. By learning to say no when necessary and focusing on your own needs, you protect your sense of self-worth and prevent others from taking advantage of you. Stoics believe that seeking approval weakens your ability to act with courage. When you're focused on gaining others' approval, you may avoid taking risks or making bold decisions out of fear that others will judge or criticize you. Stoicism teaches that true courage comes from acting according to your principles, even when others disapprove. By embracing courage, you show others that you are willing to stand by your values, even in the face of opposition. This kind of strength naturally commands respect. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is that seeking approval distracts you from your true purpose. When you're constantly focused on gaining validation from others, you lose sight of what truly matters to you. Stoicism encourages you to focus on your own goals and values, and to let go of the need for external praise. By staying true to yourself and your purpose, you create a sense of inner fulfillment that is far more valuable than the fleeting approval of others. Seeking approval can also cause you to prioritize superficial qualities over deeper virtues. When you're focused on impressing others, you may begin to value things like appearance, status, or popularity over traits like kindness, wisdom, or integrity. Stoicism teaches that true respect comes from living a virtuous life, not from gaining external validation. By focusing on developing your character and living according to your values, you build the kind of respect that lasts, rather than the superficial approval that fades over time. The Stoics also warn that approval-seeking can lead to a lack of authenticity. When you're constantly trying to gain others' approval, you may start to act in ways that don't align with your true self. You may hide parts of yourself or pretend to be someone you're not, just to fit in. Stoicism teaches that living authentically is the key to self-respect and ultimately the respect of others. By being true to yourself, regardless of what others think, you create a life of integrity that others will naturally admire. Another reason approval-seeking leads to disrespect is that it fosters dependence. When you rely on others for validation, you become dependent on their opinions to feel good about yourself. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from self-reliance. When you stop depending on others for your sense of worth, you become more independent, confident, and resilient. This independence earns the respect of others, as people admire those who are able to stand on their own. Seeking approval can also create a cycle of dissatisfaction. No matter how much validation you receive, it's never enough to fill the void within. Stoicism teaches that external approval is fleeting and unreliable. By focusing on inner contentment and self-acceptance, you break free from the endless cycle of seeking others' praise. This sense of inner peace not only makes you feel more fulfilled, but it also makes others respect you more, as they see that you are not swayed by external opinions. Stoicism also highlights the danger of becoming overly concerned with reputation. When you're focused on approval, you may become obsessed with maintaining a certain image or reputation. This can lead you to act in ways that are inauthentic or dishonest, just to protect how others see you. Stoicism teaches that reputation is outside of our control and should not dictate our actions. By focusing on living virtuously and with integrity, you naturally build a strong reputation without having to chase it. Approval-seeking can also make you more susceptible to peer pressure. When you're constantly looking for others' validation, you may go along with things that don't align with your values, just to fit in. Stoicism teaches that peer pressure is a test of your character. By standing firm in your beliefs and resisting the urge to conform, you show strength and integrity, which naturally commands respect. Stoicism also reminds us that seeking approval can erode our relationships. When you're constantly trying to please others or gain their validation, you may lose sight of the genuine connection in your relationships. Instead of being authentic and present, you become focused on how you're perceived. This creates distance and can lead to shallow relationships. By letting go of the need for approval, you create deeper, more meaningful connections based on mutual respect. One of the most profound lessons Stoicism offers is that approval-seeking leads to a lack of personal growth. When you're focused on gaining others' praise, you may avoid situations where you could fail or be criticized. Stoicism teaches that growth comes from stepping outside your comfort zone and embracing challenges. By seeking approval, you limit your opportunities for learning and growth. When you let go of the need for validation, you become more open to new experiences, and others will respect you for your willingness to grow and evolve. Stoicism also teaches that seeking approval can make you lose your sense of direction. When you're constantly trying to meet others' expectations, you may lose sight of your own goals and values. Stoicism encourages you to stay true to your path, regardless of what others think. By staying focused on your own journey, you create a life that is fulfilling and meaningful, and others will respect you for your clarity and purpose. One of the most subtle ways approval-seeking leads to disrespect is by creating resentment. When you constantly seek validation from others, You may begin to feel resentful when they don't give you the praise or approval you're looking for. This resentment can damage your relationships and create distance. Stoicism teaches that true fulfillment comes from within, not from others' validation. By letting go of the need for approval, you free yourself from the cycle of resentment and create healthier, more respectful relationships. Stoicism also reminds us that seeking approval can lead to burnout. When you're constantly trying to meet others' expectations, you may overextend yourself, taking on more than you can handle just to gain their praise. This can lead to exhaustion and a sense of being overwhelmed. Stoicism teaches that you should focus on what's within your control and set realistic limits for yourself. By doing so, you maintain your well-being and prevent burnout, earning the respect of others who see you as balanced and in control. Another consequence of approval seeking is that it can make you lose sight of your own worth. When you're constantly looking for others' validation, you begin to doubt your own value. Stoicism teaches that your worth is inherent and does not depend on others' opinions. By cultivating a sense of self-worth that comes from within, you build a strong foundation of confidence and self-respect, which naturally leads others to respect you as well. Stoicism also teaches that seeking approval can lead to a lack of resilience. When your sense of worth is tied to others' opinions, you become more vulnerable to criticism and rejection. Stoicism encourages you to develop inner resilience by focusing on your own values and actions rather than others' approval. This resilience makes you stronger in the face of adversity, and others will respect your ability to handle challenges with grace and determination. Seeking approval can also lead to a loss of authenticity. When you're constantly trying to gain others' validation, you may begin to act in ways that don't reflect your true self. Stoicism teaches that authenticity is the key to self-respect and the respect of others. By being true to yourself, regardless of what others think, you create a life of integrity and authenticity that naturally commands respect. Stoicism also reminds us that seeking approval can lead to a sense of emptiness. When you're constantly looking for others' validation, you may feel unfulfilled, as no amount of external praise can fill the void within. Stoicism teaches that true fulfillment comes from living according to your values and pursuing your purpose. By focusing on inner fulfillment rather than external validation, you create a life that is rich in meaning and purpose, and others will respect you for your sense of direction. The Stoic approach to avoiding approval seeking is simple but powerful. By cultivating self-reliance, focusing on your own values, and letting go of the need for external validation, you create a life that is grounded in authenticity, integrity, and self-respect. And when you respect yourself, others will naturally follow suit. This freedom from the need for approval not only leads to deeper, more meaningful connections, but also creates a life of true fulfillment and lasting respect. Having freed ourselves from the relentless pursuit of approval, we find a new kind of strength, one that's rooted in self-worth rather than others' validation. But this freedom comes with its own challenges, and one of the most important lessons Stoicism offers is the need to protect what we've built. Without clear boundaries, even the strongest sense of self-respect can erode over time, leaving us vulnerable to being taken for granted. The Stoics understood that while we must remain open to others, we must also guard our energy, time, and values fiercely. Only through setting and maintaining boundaries can we truly ensure that our self-respect remains intact. Boundaries are essential for creating a balanced life where we can protect our well-being without isolating ourselves. Stoicism teaches that boundaries are not about building walls, but about understanding where your limits lie. When you recognize what you are willing to tolerate and where you need to draw the line, you are setting the foundation for healthy relationships. Without these boundaries, you leave yourself open to being taken advantage of, as others may unknowingly or knowingly push past your limits. One of the most important reasons for cultivating boundaries is that they help preserve your energy. Stoicism places great emphasis on directing your energy toward things within your control. When you allow others to constantly drain your time and resources, you lose the energy needed to focus on your own growth and goals. By setting boundaries, you safeguard your energy, ensuring that it is used wisely rather than being scattered on tasks or people who don't contribute to your well-being. Another benefit of boundaries is that they protect your emotional health. When you let others overstep your emotional boundaries, you take on their problems, frustrations, and negativity. This constant exposure can lead to emotional exhaustion and resentment. Stoicism teaches that while we should remain compassionate, we must also protect our emotional state. Boundaries allow you to offer support without absorbing the emotional weight of others, maintaining your own peace of mind. Cultivating boundaries also strengthens your self-respect. When you enforce your limits, you signal to others that you value yourself enough to protect your well-being. Stoicism teaches that respecting yourself is the first step to earning the respect of others. If you don't honor your own boundaries, others will struggle to do so as well. By standing firm in your boundaries, you demonstrate that you are worthy of respect, and this will naturally shift how others interact with you. One of the key lessons Stoicism offers on boundaries is that they must be clearly communicated. It's not enough to know your limits. You must also express them to those around you. This communication doesn't have to be confrontational. In fact, Stoicism encourages calm and thoughtful discourse. When you clearly and confidently communicate your boundaries, you help others understand your needs and prevent misunderstandings that could lead to resentment or frustration. Another aspect of boundaries that Stoicism emphasizes is consistency. Boundaries are only effective if they are consistently enforced. If you allow others to cross your boundaries occasionally, you send the message that those limits are negotiable. Stoicism teaches that consistency is key to maintaining integrity, and this applies to boundaries as well. By enforcing your boundaries in every situation, you show that you are serious about protecting your well-being, and others will be more likely to respect them. Stoicism also teaches that boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they are also about saying yes to yourself. When you set boundaries, you create space for the things that truly matter to you, whether it's your personal goals, relationships, or self-care. By protecting your time and energy, you allow yourself to focus on what's important, rather than being pulled in every direction by the demands of others. This alignment with your values creates a sense of fulfillment and purpose, which naturally commands respect from others. One of the most common fears people have when setting boundaries is the fear of disappointing others. Stoicism teaches that while we should strive to be kind and considerate, we cannot control others' reactions. By focusing on what is within our control, our own actions and decisions, we free ourselves from the anxiety of trying to please everyone. Setting boundaries may disappoint some people, but it is far more important to maintain your own sense of peace and well-being than to sacrifice it for the approval of others. Boundaries are also essential for maintaining balance in relationships. Without clear limits, relationships can become one-sided, with one person constantly giving and the other constantly taking. Stoicism teaches that relationships should be based on mutual respect and balance, not dependency. By setting boundaries, you create a framework for healthy, balanced relationships where both parties contribute equally. This balance prevents feelings of being taken for granted and fosters deeper connections built on respect. Another key aspect of boundaries is learning to prioritize yourself without feeling guilty. Stoicism teaches that self-care is not selfish. It is necessary for living a fulfilling life. When you set boundaries to protect your time and well-being, you are prioritizing your own needs, which is essential for long-term happiness and growth. This is not about neglecting others, but about ensuring that you are in a strong enough position to offer help and support without sacrificing yourself in the process. One of the most difficult boundaries to set is with those closest to us, family, friends, or partners. Stoicism teaches that while we should nurture these relationships, we must also be mindful of maintaining our individuality. When you lose yourself in the needs and expectations of others, you compromise your own sense of self. By setting boundaries with loved ones, you preserve your identity and create space for personal growth, which ultimately strengthens the relationship rather than weakening it. Stoicism also reminds us that boundaries can evolve. As you grow and change, your needs and limits may shift. It's important to reassess your boundaries regularly and adjust them as necessary. Stoicism encourages self-reflection and adaptability, and this applies to boundaries as well. By remaining flexible and open to change, you ensure that your boundaries continue to serve your well-being rather than becoming rigid barriers that prevent growth. Another lesson from Stoicism is that boundaries are not just external, they are internal as well. Internal boundaries are the limits you set with yourself, ensuring that you don't overextend or neglect your own needs. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-discipline and self-care, and internal boundaries play a key role in this. By setting internal boundaries, you prevent burnout and maintain a healthy relationship with yourself, which is the foundation for all other relationships. Boundaries are also a way to protect your mental clarity. Stoicism teaches that peace of mind is essential for living a virtuous life, and boundaries help maintain that peace. When you allow others to disrupt your mental space with constant demands, distractions, or negativity, you lose focus on what truly matters. By setting boundaries, you protect your mental clarity and ensure that your thoughts and actions remain aligned with your values. One of the most powerful effects of setting boundaries is that it teaches others how to treat you. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control how others act, but we can control how we respond. By setting clear boundaries and enforcing them consistently, you show others what you will and will not tolerate. This teaches them to respect your limits, creating healthier and more respectful interactions in the future. Stoicism also teaches that boundaries are a way to protect your time. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and once it's gone, it cannot be recovered. When you allow others to monopolize your time without setting boundaries, you lose the ability to focus on what's important to you. By setting boundaries around your time, you ensure that it is spent on the things that truly matter, rather than being wasted on unnecessary distractions. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the importance of self-reliance. Boundaries help cultivate this self-reliance by ensuring that you are not overly dependent on others or allowing them to become overly dependent on you. When you set boundaries, you create a sense of independence that strengthens your ability to navigate life's challenges on your own terms. This self-reliance commands respect from others, as they see that you are not easily swayed or controlled by external forces. Stoicism also teaches that boundaries help protect your peace of mind by preventing unnecessary drama and conflict. When you set clear boundaries, you reduce the likelihood of misunderstandings or overstepping, which are often the root causes of conflict. By creating a framework for healthy interactions, boundaries help maintain harmony in your relationships and protect your peace of mind from unnecessary disturbances. Another reason boundaries are essential is that they help protect your personal growth. Stoicism teaches that growth is a lifelong process, and boundaries are necessary to create the space for that growth. When you allow others to constantly pull you away from your goals or distract you from your path, you hinder your own development. By setting boundaries, you protect your personal growth and ensure that you have the time and energy to pursue your goals without unnecessary interference. Stoicism also teaches that boundaries are a way to protect your values. When you allow others to influence or pressure you into compromising your values, you lose a part of yourself. Boundaries help you stand firm in your beliefs and ensure that you are living in alignment with your principles. By protecting your values through boundaries, you maintain your integrity, which naturally commands respect from others. One of the most powerful aspects of boundaries is that they give you the freedom to focus on what truly matters. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what is within our control, and boundaries help create the space to do just that. When you set boundaries, you free yourself from the distractions and demands of others, allowing you to focus on your own growth, goals, and well-being. This freedom not only leads to a more fulfilling life, but also earns the respect of those around you. Setting boundaries also protects you from burnout. When you constantly give to others without setting limits, you risk depleting your own resources, whether it's your time, energy, or emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches that balance is key to living a virtuous life, and boundaries help create that balance. By protecting yourself from burnout, you ensure that you are able to continue giving and supporting others in a sustainable way. Stoicism also reminds us that boundaries help protect our dignity. When you allow others to take advantage of you or disrespect your limits, you compromise your own sense of dignity. Boundaries help you maintain your self-respect by ensuring that you are treated with the respect and consideration you deserve. By enforcing your boundaries, you protect your dignity and create relationships based on mutual respect rather than exploitation. Another lesson from Stoicism is that boundaries help protect your relationships from resentment. When you allow others to overstep your limits, you may start to feel resentful, even if you don't express it. Over time, this resentment can build and damage the relationship. By setting clear boundaries, you prevent this resentment from taking root and ensure that your relationships remain healthy and respectful. Boundaries are also essential for preventing codependency. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-sufficiency, and boundaries help create a sense of independence in relationships. When you set boundaries, you prevent others from becoming overly reliant on you, and you avoid becoming overly reliant on them. This creates healthier, more balanced relationships where both parties contribute equally without losing their sense of self. Another powerful reason to set boundaries is that they help protect your mental and emotional well-being from external negativity. Stoicism teaches that we must guard our minds against negativity, and boundaries help create a buffer between you and the negativity of others. Whether it's toxic relationships, negative environments, or constant complaints, boundaries allow you to protect your peace of mind and maintain a positive outlook. Boundaries also help you prioritize what's truly important in your life. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what matters most, and boundaries help create the space to do just that. When you set limits on how much time and energy you give to others, you free yourself to focus on the things that truly matter, whether it's your personal growth, your relationships, or your goals. Finally, Stoicism teaches that boundaries are a form of self-compassion. By setting limits, you show yourself kindness and care, recognizing that you deserve to protect your well-being. Boundaries are not about shutting others out. They are about creating space for yourself to thrive. When you practice self-compassion through boundaries, you naturally cultivate a sense of self-respect, which in turn commands the respect of others. As we close the chapter on boundaries, it becomes clear that they are a powerful form of self-respect, protecting our time, energy, and relationships. But even the strongest boundaries require another critical element to uphold them: self-control. Without the discipline to enforce our limits and manage our impulses, boundaries fall apart. Self-control lies at the heart of Stoicism, forming the bedrock of how we interact with ourselves and the world around us. It is through mastering our impulses and habits that we not only protect our inner peace, but also gain the respect of others. Stoics knew that without self-control, we are at the mercy of our emotions and desires, constantly undermining the very respect we seek to cultivate. One of the most important aspects of self-control that Stoicism emphasizes is the mastery over our emotions. Stoics did not believe in suppressing emotions, but rather in managing them wisely. When we allow anger, jealousy, or fear to dictate our actions, we lose control over ourselves and invite chaos into our relationships. Self-control in the Stoic sense means pausing before reacting, giving ourselves the space to choose a response that aligns with our values. This calm, thoughtful approach not only keeps us grounded, but also earns the respect of others who see us as steady and reliable, even in difficult situations. Stoicism also teaches that self-control is vital when it comes to managing desires. In a world filled with temptations and distractions, it's easy to let our impulses take the lead. Whether it's indulging in excess or chasing fleeting pleasures, these habits erode our sense of discipline. Stoics believe that by exercising restraint and focusing on what truly matters, we strengthen our character. This kind of self-control signals to others that we are not easily swayed by the superficial, and it fosters a deeper sense of respect for our ability to prioritize long-term goals over short-term gratification. One of the key lessons from Stoicism is that self-control allows us to act with purpose rather than out of impulse. When we react impulsively, we often make decisions that we later regret, decisions that may hurt others or damage our relationships. Stoicism teaches that by exercising self-control, we can act with intention, choosing our words and actions carefully. This deliberate approach not only leads to better outcomes, but also shows others that we are thoughtful and measured, qualities that naturally command respect. Self-control also plays a significant role in how we manage conflict. In moments of disagreement or tension, it's easy to lash out or say things we don't mean. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies in controlling our reactions, especially when provoked. By remaining calm and composed, even in the face of conflict, we demonstrate emotional resilience. Others respect those who can navigate difficult conversations without losing their temper, as it shows a level of maturity and self-assurance that is rare. Another aspect of self-control that Stoicism emphasizes is the ability to resist external pressures. Whether it's peer pressure, societal expectations, or the opinions of others, there are countless forces trying to pull us in different directions. Stoicism teaches that self-control allows us to remain true to our values, even when it's difficult. By standing firm in our beliefs and not allowing ourselves to be swayed by outside influences, we demonstrate integrity, a quality that naturally earns respect from those around us. Stoicism also reminds us that self-control is not about denial, it's about balance. It's easy to swing between extremes, either indulging too much or depriving ourselves entirely. Stoics teach that moderation is key. By practicing self-control in how we manage our desires, we create a balanced life where we can enjoy pleasures without being ruled by them. This balance shows others that we have mastered the art of living well, not through excess, but through thoughtful moderation, which is deeply respected. One of the most subtle yet powerful ways self-control earns respect is through the ability to listen. In conversations, especially heated ones, It's tempting to interrupt or impose our views on others. Stoicism teaches that self-control allows us to pause, listen fully, and consider what the other person is saying before responding. This level of restraint and attentiveness shows respect for others' perspectives and, in turn, earns their respect. People are more likely to listen to and value the opinions of those who demonstrate the patience to hear them out. Stoicism also teaches that self-control is essential for maintaining consistency in our actions. People are more likely to respect those who act with consistency, whose behavior aligns with their words. When we lack self-control, we often make promises we don't keep or act in ways that contradict our values. Stoics emphasize that by controlling our impulses, we ensure that our actions are aligned with our principles, which builds trust and respect over time. Self-control also helps us manage our time wisely. Stoicism teaches that time is one of our most valuable resources, and how we spend it reflects our priorities. When we lack self-control, it's easy to waste time on distractions or activities that don't contribute to our growth. By exercising discipline in how we manage our time, we show that we respect ourselves and our goals. Others will naturally respect someone who values their time and uses it purposefully, as it signals a level of focus and commitment that is admirable. Another area where self-control is crucial is in managing our reactions to failure. Stoicism teaches that failure is inevitable, but how we respond to it determines whether we grow from the experience or become consumed by it. Self-control allows us to view failure not as a defeat, but as an opportunity for growth. By responding to setbacks with resilience and determination, we show others that we are not easily discouraged. This ability to rise above failure rather than being defeated by it earns respect because it demonstrates strength of character. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of self-control in maintaining our health. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional health, Stoics teach that we have a responsibility to care for ourselves. This requires discipline in our habits, eating well, exercising, resting, and managing stress. When we take control of our health, we show others that we value ourselves, and this respect for our own well-being translates into how others view us. People are more likely to respect someone who takes their health seriously, as it reflects a level of discipline and self-care. Another way self-control earns respect is through the ability to delay gratification. In a world that often prioritizes instant rewards, those who can wait for long-term benefits stand out. Stoicism teaches that true success comes from the ability to resist immediate pleasures in favor of greater rewards down the line. By practicing self-control in this way, we not only achieve more meaningful outcomes, but also demonstrate patience and foresight, qualities that others deeply respect. Stoicism also teaches that self-control is essential in how we handle criticism. It's natural to feel defensive when we're criticized, but reacting impulsively can damage relationships and our reputation. Stoicism teaches that by exercising self-control, we can listen to criticism without taking it personally, using it as an opportunity to learn and grow. This ability to remain composed and open to feedback earns the respect of others, as it shows that we are confident enough to handle critique without letting it undermine our self-worth. Self-control also helps us avoid making decisions based on fear. Fear can be a powerful motivator, but Stoicism teaches that acting out of fear often leads to poor choices. By controlling our fear and not letting it dictate our actions, we are able to make decisions that are grounded in logic and wisdom. This kind of decision-making earns respect because it shows that we are not easily swayed by fear or uncertainty, but rather by a calm and reasoned approach. Stoicism also emphasizes the role of self-control in how we handle success. Just as it's important to manage failure with grace, it's equally important to remain humble in the face of success. When we let success inflate our ego or cause us to act arrogantly, we lose the respect of others. Stoicism teaches that self-control allows us to stay grounded even when we achieve great things. By maintaining humility and remembering that success is fleeting, we earn the respect of those who value modesty and perspective. Another way self-control earns respect is through the ability to manage our resources. Whether it's money, time, or energy, Stoicism teaches that we must use our resources wisely. When we lack self-control, it's easy to overspend, overcommit, or exhaust ourselves trying to do too much. By exercising discipline in how we manage our resources, we show others that we are responsible and capable of making thoughtful decisions. This responsible approach to managing what we have naturally earns respect from those who see us as reliable and trustworthy. Stoicism also teaches that self-control helps us resist the temptation to engage in gossip or negative talk. It's easy to get caught up in talking about others or spreading negativity, but Stoics believe that this kind of behavior not only damages our relationships, but also reflects poorly on our character. By exercising self-control and choosing to speak kindly or not at all, we demonstrate integrity. Others respect those who refrain from engaging in harmful gossip, as it shows that we value honesty and respect for others. Another aspect of self-control that Stoicism highlights is the ability to maintain focus. In a world full of distractions, staying focused on our goals requires discipline. Stoicism teaches that by controlling our attention and not allowing ourselves to be pulled in multiple directions, we can achieve greater success. This focus not only helps us reach our goals, but also earns the respect of others who admire our ability to stay committed and not be easily distracted. Self-control is also essential for cultivating patience. Whether it's waiting for a desired outcome or dealing with difficult people, Stoicism teaches that patience is a form of strength. When we lose our patience, we often act in ways that we later regret, damaging our relationships and reputation. By practicing self-control and remaining patient, even in frustrating situations, we show others that we are capable of handling challenges with grace. This patience earns respect because it demonstrates emotional maturity and resilience. Another way self-control earns respect is through the ability to manage our expectations. Stoicism teaches that many of our disappointments come from unrealistic expectations. When we lack self-control, we often expect things to happen immediately or in exactly the way we envision. This leads to frustration and dissatisfaction. By exercising self-control, we learn to manage our expectations, accepting that things may not always go as planned. This acceptance not only leads to greater inner peace, but also earns the respect of others who admire our ability to remain calm and adaptable in the face of uncertainty. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of self-control in how we approach challenges. When we face obstacles, it's easy to give up or become overwhelmed. Stoicism teaches that self-control allows us to persevere even when the road is difficult. By controlling our impulses to quit or take the easy way out, we demonstrate resilience and determination. Others respect those who can push through challenges with a sense of purpose, as it shows strength of character and dedication. Finally, Stoicism teaches that self-control is essential for living a life of virtue. At its core, Stoicism is about living in accordance with our highest values, and this requires constant self-control. Whether it's resisting temptation, managing our emotions, or staying true to our principles, self-control allows us to live with integrity. This integrity naturally commands respect because it shows that we are committed to living a life that reflects our deepest values, not swayed by external forces or fleeting desires. In cultivating self-control, we not only create a life of purpose and fulfillment, but we also earn the respect of others. By mastering our impulses, managing our emotions, and staying true to our principles, we build a reputation for being steady, reliable, and thoughtful, qualities that inspire respect in everyone around us. As we reflect on the importance of self-control in gaining respect, it becomes evident that how we manage our actions, emotions, and words defines much of how others perceive us. But another subtle behavior often overlooked in this pursuit is the tendency to apologize excessively. Stoics understood that while acknowledging mistakes is essential, being overly apologetic can actually diminish the respect others have for us. Apologizing too much or unnecessarily signals insecurity and a lack of confidence, eroding the very self-assurance that commands respect. In Stoicism, there is a careful balance between owning our faults and not undermining our own value. Stoicism teaches that an apology should come from a place of sincerity and genuine reflection. When an apology is warranted, it serves as an opportunity for growth and repair. However, when we apologize for things beyond our control or for every minor inconvenience, we send the message that we are uncertain about our worth. This uncertainty invites others to see us as weak or insecure, which ultimately damages their respect for us. Stoics, therefore, advocate for only apologizing when it truly matters, when there is a real need to take responsibility. The tendency to over-apologize often stems from a desire to avoid conflict or make others feel comfortable. While these intentions might seem noble, Stoicism teaches that they can backfire. Apologizing unnecessarily or excessively can create a dynamic where others begin to expect us to take the blame for things that aren't our fault. This sets a dangerous precedent, leading others to take advantage of our eagerness to smooth things over. By limiting our apologies to situations where we are genuinely at fault, we protect ourselves from being unfairly burdened by others' expectations. Stoicism also teaches that over-apologizing can diminish the value of a true apology. When we say sorry too often, the word loses its weight. It becomes a reflex rather than a meaningful acknowledgement of a mistake. Stoics believe that an apology should carry significance, signaling that we have reflected on our actions and are committed to making amends. By apologizing only when it is truly necessary, we ensure that our apologies are taken seriously and that they contribute to rebuilding trust and respect. Another reason Stoics avoid being overly apologetic is that it can create a dynamic of imbalance in relationships. When one person is always apologizing, it places them in a position of submission, constantly seeking approval or forgiveness. This imbalance can lead to feelings of resentment over time, both from the person who is apologizing and from those who are on the receiving end of constant apologies. Stoicism teaches that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, where both parties take responsibility for their actions and do not place the burden of blame solely on one person. The habit of over-apologizing is often linked to a fear of being judged or disliked. Stoics, however, teach that we cannot control how others perceive us, and that constantly seeking approval through apologies only weakens our sense of self. Instead of apologizing to avoid judgment, Stoicism encourages us to stand confidently in our actions and decisions, accepting that not everyone will always agree with or like us. This inner confidence naturally commands more respect than an endless stream of apologies designed to placate others. Over-apologizing can also undermine our authority, especially in professional or leadership roles. Stoics believe that leadership requires a balance of humility and strength. While it's important for leaders to acknowledge mistakes, apologizing too frequently can make others question our ability to make sound decisions. By exercising restraint and only apologizing when necessary, we maintain our credibility and show that we are capable of handling challenges without constantly second-guessing ourselves. Stoicism teaches that part of avoiding being overly apologetic is learning to accept that some things are simply beyond our control. Apologizing for things that we have no power over, such as others' feelings or circumstances outside our influence, detracts from our ability to focus on what we can change. By acknowledging that not everything requires an apology, we free ourselves from the burden of taking on responsibility for things that are not our fault, which allows us to act with greater clarity and purpose. Another reason Stoics avoid excessive apologizing is that it can reinforce a negative self-image. When we constantly apologize, we begin to internalize the belief that we are always in the wrong or that we are somehow inadequate. This undermines our self-respect and confidence, both of which are essential for commanding the respect of others. Stoicism teaches that we should only apologize when we have genuinely done something wrong, rather than using apologies as a way to cope with feelings of insecurity or self-doubt. By avoiding unnecessary apologies, Stoics also cultivate a sense of accountability without self-blame. There is a difference between taking responsibility for our actions and over-apologizing for things that are out of our control. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the former, owning our mistakes and learning from them, while letting go of the need to constantly seek forgiveness for things we didn't cause. This balanced approach fosters respect because it shows that we are responsible without being self-deprecating. Stoicism also highlights the importance of action over words. While an apology may be necessary in some cases, it is often more powerful to demonstrate change through our actions. Over-apologizing can create a cycle where words are used to seek forgiveness without any real effort to change the behavior. Stoics believe that true growth comes from taking responsibility and making concrete improvements. By focusing on action rather than empty apologies, we earn respect by showing that we are committed to personal growth and accountability. Another key insight from Stoicism is that over-apologizing can make others uncomfortable. When we constantly apologize for minor things, it can create an awkward dynamic where others feel compelled to reassure us or downplay the situation. Stoicism teaches that we should be mindful of how our words and actions impact others. By reserving apologies for situations where they are truly warranted, we create an environment of mutual respect and understanding, rather than one where people feel the need to constantly comfort us. One of the most important lessons Stoicism offers is the idea that we cannot control how others react to us. Over-apologizing often comes from a desire to control others' emotions or to smooth over any potential discomfort. Stoics remind us that we are only responsible for our own actions, not for how others feel or respond. By letting go of the need to apologize for things beyond our control, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to manage others' emotions, which ultimately leads to greater peace of mind and respect from others. Stoicism also teaches that avoiding excessive apologies helps us maintain a sense of dignity. When we apologize unnecessarily, we give away a part of our self-respect, signaling that we are not confident in our own actions. This can lead others to view us as unsure or lacking in self-assurance. By only apologizing when it is truly necessary, we uphold our dignity and show that we are capable of making decisions with confidence, even if those decisions are not always popular. Another important aspect of Stoicism is the focus on personal growth and self-improvement. Over-apologizing can prevent us from growing because it keeps us stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity. When we apologize too much, we are constantly seeking external validation rather than looking within for our own sense of worth. Stoicism teaches that true growth comes from self-reflection and personal accountability, not from seeking approval through apologies. By focusing on our own development, we naturally earn the respect of others who see our commitment to self-improvement. Stoicism also encourages us to be mindful of the power dynamics in relationships. Over-apologizing can create an imbalance where one person is always in a position of submission, constantly seeking forgiveness or approval. This dynamic can lead to resentment and a lack of respect from both parties. Stoics teach that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and equality, where both individuals take responsibility for their actions without constantly seeking validation through apologies. Another reason Stoics avoid being overly apologetic is that it can weaken our resolve in the face of adversity. When we apologize too much, we may start to doubt our ability to handle difficult situations or make tough decisions. Stoicism teaches that strength comes from standing firm in our convictions, even when faced with challenges. By avoiding unnecessary apologies, we demonstrate resilience and confidence, which earns the respect of others who admire our ability to navigate adversity with grace. Stoicism also teaches that over-apologizing can prevent us from setting clear boundaries. When we constantly apologize, we may be signaling to others that we are willing to accommodate their needs at the expense of our own. This can lead to situations where our boundaries are crossed and we feel taken advantage of. By reserving apologies for situations where they are truly needed, we create a sense of clarity and respect in our relationships, where our boundaries are honored. One of the key insights from Stoicism is that self-respect is foundational to earning the respect of others. Over-apologizing can erode our sense of self-respect because it reinforces the belief that we are constantly at fault or inadequate. Stoicism teaches that we should cultivate a deep sense of self-worth that is not dependent on others' approval or forgiveness. By maintaining this inner confidence, we naturally command respect from those around us. Stoics also avoid over-apologizing because it can create a pattern of seeking external validation. When we apologize too often, we may be relying on others to reassure us or validate our feelings. This dependence on external validation weakens our sense of autonomy and self-reliance. Stoicism teaches that we should look within for our sense of worth and not depend on others to make us feel validated. By cultivating this inner strength, we earn the respect of others who see us as self-assured and independent. Another important reason Stoics avoid being overly apologetic is that it can lead to a lack of accountability from others. When we constantly apologize, we may be taking responsibility for things that are not our fault, which allows others to avoid their own accountability. Stoicism teaches that everyone is responsible for their own actions, and by avoiding unnecessary apologies, we encourage others to take ownership of their behavior. This fosters a sense of mutual respect and responsibility in our relationships. Stoicism also reminds us that over-apologizing can prevent us from learning from our mistakes. When we apologize too much, we may be focusing on seeking forgiveness rather than reflecting on how we can improve. Stoicism teaches that mistakes are opportunities for growth, and by taking responsibility without over-apologizing, we create space for self-reflection and improvement. This commitment to growth naturally earns the respect of others who see our dedication to becoming better versions of ourselves. In conclusion, Stoics understand that being overly apologetic does not foster respect. It undermines it. By limiting our apologies to situations where they are truly needed, we preserve our self-respect, maintain healthy boundaries, and demonstrate confidence in our actions. This balanced approach not only strengthens our relationships, but also ensures that when we do apologize, it carries weight and meaning. In living with this level of self-assurance, we cultivate an inner strength that naturally commands the respect of others. As we move forward from the topic of excessive apologies, it becomes evident that our need to constantly say sorry is often rooted in a deeper issue, the compulsion to please others. This desire to meet everyone's expectations can slowly chip away at our self-respect. Stoicism offers a path to break free from this exhausting cycle, teaching us that living in constant service to others' approval is not only unsustainable, but ultimately detrimental to our own well-being. In trying to please everyone, we sacrifice the very respect we should have for ourselves. Now, we turn to the Stoic wisdom on how to stop pleasing others at the expense of our self-respect, a lesson in reclaiming our autonomy and inner strength. Stoicism teaches that the root of people-pleasing often comes from the fear of rejection or disapproval. We bend over backwards for others, hoping that by meeting their expectations, we will be liked or accepted. However, Stoics remind us that we cannot control how others think or feel. By placing our self-worth in the hands of others, we relinquish control over our own lives. This cycle of seeking approval keeps us bound to external validation, preventing us from building the self-respect that comes from knowing and honoring our true selves. One of the most harmful effects of people-pleasing is the way it undermines our personal boundaries. Stoicism teaches that boundaries are essential for maintaining a sense of self-worth, yet when we prioritize pleasing others, we allow our boundaries to be crossed. We say yes when we mean no, agree to things that go against our values, and neglect our own needs in favor of others. Over time, this not only drains our energy, but also weakens our sense of self-respect. By embracing the Stoic principle of acting in accordance with our values, we can begin to strengthen our boundaries and protect our well-being. Another key lesson from Stoicism is that pleasing others can lead to a loss of authenticity. When we are constantly trying to fit into others' expectations, we suppress parts of ourselves that don't align with what we think others want. This inauthenticity creates a disconnect between who we are and how we present ourselves to the world. Stoics teach that true self-respect comes from living in alignment with our core values, not from molding ourselves to fit the desires of others. By letting go of the need to please, we free ourselves to live authentically, and in doing so, we earn the respect of those who value us for who we truly are. The habit of people-pleasing also often stems from a deep sense of insecurity. We fear that if we don't constantly meet others' expectations, we will lose their approval or affection. However, Stoicism teaches that real self-worth comes from within, not from the opinions of others. By cultivating inner confidence and self-reliance, we free ourselves from the need to constantly seek validation. When we stop relying on others to affirm our worth, we build a stronger foundation of self-respect, which naturally leads others to respect us more. People-pleasing can also lead to burnout. When we are constantly putting others' needs ahead of our own, we deplete our emotional, mental, and physical energy. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of balance and moderation in all things. By prioritizing self-care and ensuring that we are not giving more than we can afford, we maintain our strength and well-being. In doing so, we set an example for others that self-respect is not selfish. It is necessary for living a balanced and fulfilling life. Another reason to stop pleasing others is that it often leads to resentment. When we constantly sacrifice our own needs to satisfy others, we may begin to feel frustrated or resentful, even if we don't express it. This resentment can damage our relationships and erode our self-respect. Stoicism teaches that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and balance, where both parties' needs are considered. By learning to say no when necessary and standing firm in our values, we prevent resentment from taking root and create more genuine, respectful connections. One of the most important lessons from Stoicism is the value of self-reliance. People-pleasing often stems from a fear of standing on our own, so we rely on others' approval to feel secure. However, Stoicism encourages us to cultivate inner strength and independence. By relying on ourselves for validation, we break free from the need to please others and reclaim our autonomy. This self-reliance not only strengthens our sense of self-respect, but also earns the respect of those around us who admire our confidence and independence. Stoicism also teaches that people-pleasing can prevent us from making decisions that are truly in our best interest. When we are focused on meeting others' expectations, we may make choices that align with their desires rather than our own. This can lead to a life that feels unfulfilling or misaligned with our true goals. Stoics remind us that we must live according to our own values, making decisions that reflect who we are and what we truly want. By doing so, we build a life that is authentic and meaningful, one that earns both our own respect and the respect of others. Another insight from Stoicism is that people-pleasing can lead us to compromise our integrity. When we are too focused on pleasing others, we may find ourselves bending our values or principles to avoid conflict or gain approval. This erodes our sense of integrity, which is foundational to self-respect. Stoicism teaches that we must always act in accordance with our highest principles, even when it is difficult or unpopular. By standing firm in our values, we demonstrate integrity and earn the respect of those who value authenticity and honesty. Stoics also warn that people-pleasing can create unhealthy dependencies in relationships. When we are constantly trying to meet others' needs, we may foster a dynamic where others become overly reliant on us for their happiness or fulfillment. This can lead to imbalance and resentment on both sides. Stoicism teaches that healthy relationships are built on mutual independence, where each person takes responsibility for their own well-being. By stepping back from the role of the constant pleaser, we encourage others to take ownership of their own needs, creating more balanced and respectful relationships. One of the most liberating lessons from Stoicism is that we are not responsible for others' happiness. People-pleasers often take on the burden of ensuring that everyone around them is happy, even at the expense of their own well-being. Stoicism teaches that each person is responsible for their own emotional state. By letting go of the need to make others happy, we free ourselves from an impossible task and regain control over our own happiness. This shift in focus from external to internal leads to greater peace of mind and a deeper sense of self-respect. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of living with purpose. When we are constantly focused on pleasing others, we may lose sight of our own goals and values. Our actions become driven by the desire for approval rather than a sense of purpose. Stoics teach that we must live intentionally, guided by our own values and goals. By aligning our actions with our true purpose, we create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling, one that commands respect from both ourselves and others. Another reason to stop pleasing others, according to Stoicism, is that it can prevent us from fully developing our potential. When we are focused on meeting others' expectations, we may hold back from pursuing our own passions or taking risks that could lead to growth. Stoicism teaches that personal growth comes from embracing challenges and stepping outside of our comfort zones. By prioritizing our own development over the need to please, we unlock our full potential and build a life that is both fulfilling and worthy of respect. Stoicism also teaches that people-pleasing can lead to a lack of assertiveness. When we are focused on keeping others happy, we may struggle to speak up for ourselves or express our true needs and desires. This lack of assertiveness can lead to feelings of frustration and powerlessness. Stoicism encourages us to be direct and honest in our communication, expressing our needs and boundaries clearly. By doing so, we not only respect ourselves, but also foster more authentic and respectful interactions with others. Another key lesson from Stoicism is that people-pleasing can prevent us from embracing discomfort. We may go out of our way to avoid conflict or awkward situations, even if it means compromising our values or well-being. Stoics teach that discomfort is a natural part of life and that we must face it with courage rather than avoidance. By embracing discomfort and standing firm in our values, we build resilience and earn the respect of those who admire our strength and authenticity. Stoicism also reminds us that people-pleasing can create unrealistic expectations. When we constantly go out of our way to meet others' needs, we may set a precedent where they begin to expect us to always be available or accommodating. This can lead to a cycle where we feel obligated to continue pleasing others, even at the expense of our own well-being. By setting clear boundaries and managing expectations, we create a healthier dynamic where others respect our time and energy. Another reason to stop pleasing others is that it can prevent us from developing genuine self-confidence. When we rely on others' approval to feel good about ourselves, our self-esteem becomes fragile and dependent on external factors. Stoicism teaches that true confidence comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and knowing that we are acting with integrity. By focusing on pleasing ourselves rather than others, we cultivate a deep sense of self-confidence that is unshakable, regardless of others' opinions. Stoics also warn that people-pleasing can lead to emotional exhaustion. When we are constantly trying to meet others' needs, we may neglect our own emotional health, leading to feelings of burnout or depletion. Stoicism teaches the importance of balance and self-care, reminding us that we must prioritize our own emotional well-being if we are to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. By setting limits on how much we give to others, we protect our own energy and ensure that we are not sacrificing our self-respect in the process. Another key insight from Stoicism is that people-pleasing can prevent us from developing meaningful connections. When we are focused on pleasing others, we may hide our true selves or suppress our own needs, leading to superficial or unbalanced relationships. Stoicism teaches that genuine connections are built on authenticity and mutual respect. By being true to ourselves and expressing our needs openly, we create deeper, more meaningful relationships that are based on mutual understanding and respect. Stoicism also reminds us that people-pleasing can prevent us from living in the present moment. When we are constantly worrying about others' expectations or seeking their approval, we become distracted from the present. Stoicism teaches the importance of mindfulness and living fully in the moment, without being weighed down by concerns about others' opinions. By letting go of the need to please, we free ourselves to experience life more fully and with greater clarity. Another reason to stop pleasing others is that it can prevent us from making meaningful contributions to the world. When we are focused on meeting others' expectations, we may hold back from pursuing our own passions or sharing our unique talents. Stoicism teaches that we each have a role to play in contributing to the greater good, and that we must focus on what we can offer rather than what others expect of us. By living authentically and pursuing our own path, we make a greater impact and earn the respect of those who value our contributions. Stoicism also teaches that people-pleasing can create a sense of inner conflict. When we are constantly trying to meet others' expectations, we may feel torn between our own desires and the need to please. This inner conflict can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and a lack of fulfillment. Stoicism encourages us to resolve this conflict by living in alignment with our values, making decisions that reflect our true selves rather than the desires of others. This clarity and alignment lead to greater inner peace and a stronger sense of self-respect. Finally, Stoicism teaches that people-pleasing prevents us from living with courage. It takes courage to stand firm in our values, to say no when necessary, and to prioritize our own well-being. People-pleasing, on the other hand, is often driven by fear, the fear of rejection, disapproval, or conflict. Stoicism teaches that true courage comes from acting in accordance with our principles, regardless of others' reactions. By embracing this courage, we reclaim our self-respect and earn the respect of those who admire our strength and authenticity. As we move on from the pitfalls of people-pleasing, there's a natural connection to how we communicate, how often, how much, and with what intent. Stoicism emphasizes the value of words, but it also highlights the strength that comes from knowing when not to speak. Too often, we fill silence with unnecessary chatter, seeking validation, approval, or simply to avoid discomfort. But Stoicism teaches that silence, used wisely, can be more powerful than words. Speaking excessively can diminish respect, as it may convey insecurity, a lack of self-control, or even arrogance. Now, let us explore the Stoic understanding of the power of silence and why over-talking leads to a loss of respect. One of the key lessons in Stoicism is the principle of speaking only when it adds value. Excessive talking, especially when it serves no real purpose, not only wastes energy, but also erodes respect. People who talk too much are often seen as lacking depth or thoughtfulness. Stoics remind us that words carry weight, and when we speak too freely, we dilute the impact of our message. Silence, on the other hand, invites reflection and shows restraint, both of which are traits that command respect. Talking too much can also reveal a lack of self-awareness. Stoicism teaches the importance of knowing ourselves, understanding our strengths, and recognizing our weaknesses. When we speak constantly, we may be unaware of how we are perceived by others, or worse, we may come across as seeking attention or validation. The Stoic approach encourages us to cultivate self-awareness and to be mindful of the space we take up in conversations. Speaking less often allows others to share their thoughts, fostering mutual respect and deeper connections. Another reason Stoics value silence is that it promotes listening. When we are constantly speaking, we are not truly listening to others. Stoicism teaches that listening is a critical skill for gaining wisdom and understanding. By talking less, we open ourselves to learning from others' perspectives, which not only enriches our own understanding, but also shows respect for those around us. People are more likely to respect someone who listens attentively rather than someone who dominates conversations with their own voice. Stoicism also warns that excessive talking can lead to saying things we later regret. When we speak impulsively without thinking, we risk hurting others or revealing information that should have been kept private. Silence, on the other hand, gives us the opportunity to reflect before we speak, ensuring that our words are thoughtful and measured. By practicing this restraint, we build trust with others, as they come to see us as reliable and considerate in our communication. Another insight from Stoicism is that silence can convey confidence. People who are comfortable with silence often appear more self-assured because they do not feel the need to fill every moment with words. Over-talking, on the other hand, can signal nervousness or insecurity. By embracing silence, we project an image of calm and control, qualities that naturally earn respect from those around us. The Stoics also teach that speaking too much can make us vulnerable to manipulation. When we reveal too much about ourselves through constant talking, we may unknowingly give others the tools they need to exploit us. Stoicism encourages discretion, reminding us that not everything needs to be shared. Silence helps us protect our personal information and maintain a sense of mystery, both of which are important for preserving our power and earning respect. Silence can also be a form of strength in the face of criticism or conflict. Stoicism teaches that we should not be reactive or easily provoked by the opinions of others. When faced with criticism, talking too much in defense of ourselves can make us appear defensive or insecure. Silence, however, demonstrates that we are not easily rattled by the words of others. By choosing not to respond immediately, we show that we are in control of our emotions and that we value our peace of mind over engaging in unnecessary arguments. Stoicism also highlights that excessive talking can dilute the importance of our words. When we speak too often, people may begin to tune us out or not take us seriously. However, when we speak less frequently and with intention, our words carry more weight. People are more likely to listen carefully when they know that we do not speak lightly. This thoughtful use of speech, combined with the strategic use of silence, earns us respect and ensures that our messages are heard and valued. Another reason Stoics value silence is that it allows us to observe more. When we are constantly speaking, we may miss important details or nuances in the conversations around us. Silence gives us the space to observe body language, tone, and other non-verbal cues, helping us to better understand the dynamics at play. By being more observant, we become more effective communicators and are better equipped to respond thoughtfully when the time is right. This level of awareness naturally commands respect. Talking too much can also undermine our credibility. Stoicism teaches that we should be precise and thoughtful in our communication. When we speak excessively, we run the risk of contradicting ourselves or speaking on topics we are not fully knowledgeable about. This can lead others to question our reliability or expertise. By speaking only when we have something meaningful to contribute, we maintain our credibility and demonstrate that we are intentional in our use of language. Silence is also a tool for managing emotions. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of controlling our emotional reactions, especially in difficult situations. When we are upset or angry, it's easy to say things in the heat of the moment that we later regret. Silence gives us the opportunity to pause, reflect, and regain control before responding. This emotional restraint not only helps us maintain our composure, but also earns the respect of others, who see us as calm and in control, even in challenging circumstances. Another benefit of silence is that it fosters humility. Stoicism teaches that we should not seek to impress others with our words or knowledge. Talking too much, especially about our own accomplishments or opinions, can come across as boastful or arrogant. Silence, on the other hand, allows us to demonstrate humility by listening more and speaking only when necessary. This humility is a key factor in earning respect, as people are more likely to value those who do not constantly seek the spotlight. Stoicism also warns against gossip, which is often a result of talking too much. When we engage in idle talk about others, we risk damaging our relationships and losing the trust of those around us. Gossip not only reflects poorly on our character, but also creates a toxic environment where respect is diminished. Silence helps us avoid falling into the trap of gossip, allowing us to focus on more meaningful and productive conversations. Silence can also be a form of self-discipline. Stoicism teaches that self-control is essential for living a virtuous life, and this extends to our speech. When we are able to control the urge to speak unnecessarily, we demonstrate mastery over our impulses. This self-discipline not only strengthens our character, but also earns the respect of others, who see us as thoughtful and measured in our communication. Another reason to embrace silence, according to Stoicism, is that it allows us to conserve our energy. Talking too much can be mentally and emotionally draining, especially when it serves no real purpose. By choosing to speak only when necessary, we conserve our energy for more important tasks and conversations. This focus on efficiency and intentionality is a trait that others respect, as it shows that we value our time and energy. Stoicism also teaches that silence can be a form of protest or resistance. In situations where we are pressured to conform or agree with something we do not believe in, silence can be a powerful way to maintain our integrity. Rather than engaging in debates or explanations, we can choose to remain silent, signaling our dissent without compromising our values. This quiet form of resistance can be more impactful than words, as it demonstrates that we are not swayed by external pressures. Another key lesson from Stoicism is that silence allows us to maintain control over our reputation. When we speak too much, especially in moments of frustration or anger, we risk saying things that can damage our reputation. Stoicism teaches that our reputation is built on our actions and words, and we must be mindful of how we present ourselves to the world. By practicing silence, we protect our reputation and ensure that we are remembered for our wisdom and restraint, rather than for impulsive or thoughtless remarks. Silence can also be a way to show respect for others. When we dominate conversations with our own voice, we may unintentionally silence those around us. Stoicism teaches that true respect is shown by giving others the space to speak and share their thoughts. By embracing silence, we create a more inclusive environment where everyone feels valued and heard. This generosity of space naturally earns us respect, as it shows that we are not solely focused on ourselves, but on fostering meaningful dialogue with others. Another important aspect of silence in Stoicism is its role in fostering inner peace. When we are constantly talking, we may become disconnected from our inner selves, caught up in the noise of external conversations. Silence allows us to reconnect with our inner thoughts and reflect on our actions. This reflection is key to personal growth and self-awareness, which are essential for building self-respect and earning the respect of others. Stoicism also teaches that silence can be a way to avoid unnecessary conflict. In situations where emotions are running high, speaking too much can escalate tensions and lead to arguments. By choosing silence, we create space for calm and reflection, allowing tensions to de-escalate. This ability to manage conflict with grace and restraint is highly respected, as it shows that we prioritize harmony and resolution over winning arguments or asserting dominance. Another reason to embrace silence is that it fosters patience. Stoicism teaches that patience is a virtue, and silence allows us to practice this virtue in our daily interactions. When we are patient enough to wait for the right moment to speak, we demonstrate that we are not impulsive or reactive. This patience not only earns us respect, but also helps us make better decisions, as we have taken the time to fully consider our response before speaking. Stoicism also emphasizes that silence allows us to focus on what truly matters. When we talk too much, we may become distracted by trivial or meaningless conversations. Silence helps us cut through the noise and focus on the topics that are truly important. By being selective in our speech, we show that we value substance over superficiality, a trait that others respect and admire. Another lesson from Stoicism is that silence can be a way to practice humility. When we are silent, we acknowledge that we do not have all the answers and that there is value in listening to others. This humility not only deepens our understanding, but also earns the respect of those around us, who see that we are open to learning and growth rather than being fixated on our own opinions. Finally, Stoicism teaches that silence is a tool for cultivating wisdom. Wisdom comes not from speaking endlessly, but from listening, observing, and reflecting. By embracing silence, we create space for deeper thought and insight. This wisdom, earned through contemplation rather than constant talking, naturally commands respect from those who value depth and understanding over superficial chatter. In choosing silence, we find strength, self-control, and the ability to command respect, not by the volume of our words, but by the depth of our presence. Silence, when used with intention, becomes one of the most powerful tools for fostering meaningful connections, protecting our self-respect, and earning the respect of others. As we leave behind the importance of silence and the damage that excessive talking can cause, we now turn to another weakness that Stoicism addresses: indecisiveness. Just as speaking too much can diminish respect, so can the inability to make decisions confidently and swiftly. Stoicism teaches that hesitation and indecision erode our credibility and invite others to question our strength of character. When we consistently waver, we signal uncertainty, making it difficult for others to trust or respect our judgment. Now, let's explore why Stoics believe indecisiveness invites disrespect and how we can learn to overcome it. Indecisiveness stems from a fear of making the wrong choice. However, Stoicism teaches that no decision is entirely free from risk, and waiting too long to decide can be just as damaging as choosing poorly. In fact, failing to decide often leaves us vulnerable to external forces making decisions for us, further eroding our sense of agency. By embracing the Stoic principle that we cannot control the outcome but only our actions, we can learn to make decisions with confidence and accept the consequences, knowing we acted in alignment with our values. Another consequence of indecision is that it breeds doubt in the minds of others. When we hesitate or delay in making choices, those around us may begin to question our competence or ability to lead. Stoicism emphasizes that strong leadership and respect are built on decisiveness. By making firm, thoughtful choices, we show others that we are capable of navigating complex situations. This earns respect because it signals that we trust ourselves and our principles enough to take action without being paralyzed by fear. Indecisiveness can also cause us to miss opportunities. Stoicism teaches the importance of seizing the moment and acting within the present. When we hesitate, we risk losing valuable chances to grow, succeed, or build meaningful connections. Opportunities rarely wait for us to make up our minds, and by delaying action, we let these moments slip away. The Stoic approach encourages us to act decisively, trusting that we are prepared to handle whatever comes our way. This proactive mindset is respected because it shows that we are not afraid to embrace uncertainty and take responsibility for our lives. The habit of indecision also weakens our confidence. Each time we waver in making choices, we reinforce the belief that we are not capable of handling difficult situations. Stoicism teaches that confidence is built through action, not hesitation. By making decisions, even when we are unsure, we strengthen our self-trust and grow more comfortable with the unknown. This confidence, in turn, earns the respect of others, as they see us as someone who is willing to take risks and stand by their choices. Indecisiveness can also harm our relationships. When we are unable to make decisions, whether in personal or professional settings, we place an unfair burden on others to fill the void. This creates frustration and diminishes their respect for us. Stoicism teaches that we should not rely on others to make decisions for us. By taking ownership of our choices and acting decisively, we demonstrate that we are capable of contributing equally to our relationships, fostering mutual respect and trust. Another reason indecisiveness invites disrespect is that it signals a lack of clarity. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living with purpose and direction. When we are unsure of our path or goals, we tend to waver in our decisions, which makes it difficult for others to follow or trust us. By gaining clarity about our values and priorities, we can make decisions with greater conviction. This clarity not only strengthens our own sense of purpose, but also earns the respect of those who see us as someone with direction and focus. Stoicism also teaches that indecision stems from a desire for perfection. We often hesitate to make choices because we fear making a mistake or choosing the wrong option. However, Stoics remind us that perfection is an illusion, and waiting for the perfect solution only leads to stagnation. By embracing the reality that no choice is without flaws, we free ourselves to act without the paralyzing fear of imperfection. This willingness to act, even in the face of uncertainty, earns respect because it shows that we value progress over perfection. Indecisiveness can also make us more susceptible to external influence. When we are unsure of our choices, we may rely too heavily on the opinions or advice of others, allowing them to shape our decisions. Stoicism teaches that while seeking counsel is important, we must ultimately rely on our own judgment. By making decisions based on our values and principles, rather than the expectations of others, we demonstrate independence and self-reliance, qualities that naturally command respect. Another consequence of indecision is that it often leads to procrastination. Stoicism warns against delaying action as it prevents us from living fully in the present. When we procrastinate, we allow fear and uncertainty to control our lives, which diminishes our self-respect and the respect others have for us. By taking decisive action, even when we are unsure of the outcome, we break free from the grip of procrastination and show others that we are committed to moving forward. This commitment to action earns respect because it reflects a proactive and courageous approach to life. Indecisiveness can also create a sense of frustration within ourselves. When we hesitate or avoid making decisions, we may feel stuck or powerless, which can lead to self-doubt and dissatisfaction. Stoicism teaches that we find fulfillment not in avoiding choices, but in taking responsibility for our lives and actions. By embracing the power of decision-making, we reclaim control over our lives and build a sense of inner peace. This self-assurance naturally commands respect, as others admire our ability to navigate challenges with confidence and determination. Another reason indecisiveness invites disrespect is that it can erode trust. When we are unable to make decisions or follow through on our commitments, others may begin to doubt our reliability. Stoicism emphasizes that trust is built on consistency and action. By making decisions and standing by them, we show others that we are dependable and capable of following through. This reliability earns respect because it demonstrates that we are someone who can be counted on, even in uncertain situations. Stoicism also teaches that indecision can lead to feelings of powerlessness. When we hesitate to make choices, we may feel as though we are at the mercy of external circumstances, unable to take control of our own lives. By embracing the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control, we can overcome this sense of powerlessness and take decisive action. This sense of empowerment not only strengthens our self-respect, but also earns the respect of those who see us as someone who takes charge of their own destiny. Indecisiveness can also undermine our ability to lead. Whether in personal or professional settings, leadership requires the ability to make decisions quickly and confidently. Stoicism teaches that strong leaders are those who act with clarity and purpose, even when faced with uncertainty. By practicing decisive action, we demonstrate that we are capable of guiding others and making tough choices. This leadership earns respect because it shows that we are not afraid to take responsibility for our decisions and their consequences. Another reason indecisiveness invites disrespect is that it can create confusion. When we are unsure of our decisions, we may send mixed signals to those around us, leading to misunderstandings or miscommunication. Stoicism teaches the importance of clear and direct communication. By making decisions and expressing them confidently, we provide clarity to others and foster an environment of mutual understanding. This clarity not only strengthens our relationships, but also earns the respect of those who value our ability to communicate effectively. Stoicism also teaches that indecision can prevent us from taking meaningful risks. Fear of failure or making the wrong choice can keep us from pursuing opportunities that could lead to growth or success. However, Stoics remind us that failure is an essential part of life and that we must embrace risk if we are to grow. By overcoming indecision and taking calculated risks, we demonstrate courage and a willingness to learn from our mistakes. This willingness to embrace challenges earns respect because it shows that we are not afraid to step outside our comfort zone in pursuit of our goals. Indecisiveness can also cause us to lose credibility. When we are unable to make decisions or stick to them, others may begin to question our judgment or expertise. Stoicism teaches that credibility is built through consistent action and thoughtful decision-making. By practicing decisiveness, we show others that we are capable of making sound choices, even in difficult circumstances. This credibility earns respect because it reflects a level of competence and reliability that others can trust. Another reason indecisiveness invites disrespect is that it can lead to missed deadlines or broken commitments. When we hesitate to make decisions, we may delay important actions, which can result in unmet expectations. Stoicism teaches the importance of fulfilling our responsibilities and keeping our promises. By making decisions in a timely manner and following through on our commitments, we demonstrate that we are accountable and trustworthy. This accountability earns respect because it shows that we are someone who can be relied upon to meet their obligations. Stoicism also emphasizes that indecisiveness can create anxiety. When we are unsure of our decisions, we may feel overwhelmed by the weight of the choices before us, leading to stress and uncertainty. Stoicism teaches that we can alleviate this anxiety by focusing on what is within our control and taking action. By making decisions, even when we are uncertain of the outcome, we reduce the burden of anxiety and regain a sense of control over our lives. This calm and composed approach to decision-making earns respect because it shows that we are able to navigate challenges with grace and resilience. Another reason indecisiveness invites disrespect is that it can make us appear passive. When we consistently avoid making decisions, we may give the impression that we are unwilling or unable to take responsibility for our lives. Stoicism teaches that we must be active participants in our own lives, taking responsibility for our actions and choices. By practicing decisiveness, we demonstrate that we are proactive and engaged in shaping our own destiny. This active approach to life earns respect because it reflects a sense of ownership and accountability that others admire. Indecisiveness can also prevent us from building momentum in our lives. When we hesitate to make decisions, we may find ourselves stuck in a cycle of inaction, unable to move forward. Stoicism teaches that progress is made through consistent action, not through endless deliberation. By making decisions and taking action, we create momentum that propels us toward our goals. This forward momentum earns respect because it shows that we are committed to growth and progress rather than remaining stagnant in our lives. Another reason indecisiveness invites disrespect is that it can lead to a lack of confidence in our own abilities. When we constantly second-guess ourselves or delay making choices, we reinforce the belief that we are not capable of handling difficult situations. Stoicism teaches that confidence is built through action, not hesitation. By making decisions, even when we are unsure, We strengthen our self-trust and grow more comfortable with the unknown. This confidence, in turn, earns the respect of others, as they see us as someone who is willing to take risks and stand by their choices. Finally, Stoicism teaches that overcoming indecisiveness requires a shift in mindset. Instead of fearing the potential consequences of our choices, we must focus on the process of making decisions in alignment with our values. By trusting ourselves and embracing the uncertainty that comes with decision-making, we free ourselves from the paralysis of indecision. This decisive and value-driven approach to life earns respect because it reflects a deep sense of self-assurance and integrity that others admire. In the end, it is through decisive action that we reclaim our self-respect and earn the respect of those around us. As we move beyond the challenge of indecisiveness, where actions speak louder than hesitation, it's time to focus on another core Stoic belief. Respect is not earned through empty promises or elaborate speeches, but through the consistency of our actions. Stoicism teaches that words can be deceptive, easily manipulated or misunderstood, but actions are undeniable. It is through what we do, how we live, the decisions we make, and the way we treat others, that we truly command respect. Now, let us delve into how Stoicism guides us to lead through action and why it's far more powerful than relying on words alone. Stoicism emphasizes that actions reveal the true character of a person. While words can be rehearsed or manipulated to fit a narrative, our actions are a direct reflection of our values. When we act with integrity, consistency, and purpose, we demonstrate our commitment to living virtuously. People respect those whose actions align with their principles because it shows that they are not merely talking about what's right, but actively practicing it. This alignment between what we say and what we do is key to commanding respect in the eyes of others. The Stoics believed that living by example is the most effective way to inspire others. When we lead through action, we do not need to convince others of our worth or beg for their admiration. Instead, our behavior speaks for itself. People naturally respect those who demonstrate competence, resilience, and integrity through their actions, without the need for constant explanation or justification. Stoicism teaches that by living according to our values, we silently but powerfully influence those around us, earning their respect without ever asking for it. Another aspect of commanding respect through actions is consistency. Stoicism teaches that our actions must be steady and reliable, not sporadic or driven by emotion. When people see that we act consistently, even in difficult situations, they come to trust and respect us. They know that we are not easily swayed by external pressures or momentary whims. This kind of consistency in behavior builds a foundation of trust, which is essential for earning long-lasting respect. Stoicism also teaches that actions are a true measure of our strength and resilience. It's easy to speak about courage or determination, but it's our actions in moments of adversity that truly reveal these traits. When we face challenges head-on and continue to act in alignment with our values, we demonstrate real strength. People respect those who can stay true to their principles even in the face of hardship. It shows that we are not easily defeated and that we have the fortitude to persevere through difficult circumstances. One of the most important lessons from Stoicism is that we should act without seeking recognition. Respect is not earned by demanding attention or praise for our actions. In fact, Stoics believe that seeking recognition diminishes the authenticity of our deeds. Instead, we should focus on doing what is right because it is in line with our values, not because we want others to acknowledge it. This humility in action earns respect because it shows that we are motivated by integrity, not ego. The Stoics also taught that actions grounded in wisdom carry far more weight than words. While it's easy to talk about what we should do, it's much more difficult to consistently act wisely in real-life situations. Wisdom, in Stoic terms, means understanding what is within our control and acting in a way that reflects our understanding of the world. By making decisions based on reason rather than impulse or emotion, we earn the respect of others who see us as thoughtful and deliberate in our actions. Another reason actions command respect is that they create tangible results. Words can inspire or motivate, but without action, they often fall flat. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of taking meaningful steps toward our goals rather than relying on empty rhetoric. People respect those who can back up their words with real accomplishments. By focusing on what we can do rather than what we say, we build a track record of success that speaks for itself. Stoicism also teaches that our actions should reflect kindness and compassion. While it's easy to speak about helping others or being empathetic, it's our actions that truly demonstrate our care for those around us. Stoics believe that we should act with consideration for the well-being of others, not for the sake of recognition, but because it is the right thing to do. When people see that we consistently act with kindness and compassion, they respect us for our selflessness and integrity. Another key Stoic principle is that actions reveal our discipline and self-control. While we can talk about the importance of self-mastery, it is our ability to act with restraint and focus that truly shows our discipline. Stoicism teaches that controlling our impulses and acting with purpose is essential for living a virtuous life. When people see that we are disciplined in our actions, they respect us for our ability to stay on course, even when faced with distractions or temptations. Stoicism also emphasizes that our actions are a reflection of our commitment to personal growth. While words can express our desire to improve, it's the steps we take towards self-improvement that demonstrate our dedication to growth. Whether it's through daily habits, learning from our mistakes, or making difficult changes, our actions show others that we are serious about becoming better versions of ourselves. This commitment to growth commands respect because it shows that we are not complacent but constantly striving to evolve. Another reason actions are more powerful than words is that they build credibility. When we say one thing and do another, we lose the trust of those around us. Stoicism teaches that credibility is built through consistent, reliable actions. By following through on our commitments and acting with integrity, we earn the trust and respect of others who see that we are true to our word. This credibility is essential for building strong, respectful relationships in both our personal and professional lives. Stoicism also teaches that actions demonstrate our courage. It's easy to talk about being brave or taking risks, but it's our willingness to act in the face of fear that truly shows our courage. When we take bold steps, even when the outcome is uncertain, we earn the respect of others who admire our bravery. Stoicism reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. This willingness to take action, even in the face of adversity, commands respect because it shows that we are not held back by fear. Another lesson from Stoicism is that actions should be driven by purpose, not by the desire for approval. When we act with purpose, we are focused on what truly matters rather than on what others think of us. Stoics teach that living with purpose means acting in alignment with our values, regardless of external validation. This kind of purposeful action earns respect because it shows that we are motivated by something deeper than the need for approval or recognition. Stoicism also emphasizes that actions demonstrate accountability. While it's easy to make excuses or shift blame, taking responsibility for our actions shows maturity and integrity. When we own our mistakes and take steps to correct them, we earn the respect of others who see that we are willing to be accountable for our behavior. This accountability builds trust and fosters respect, because it shows that we are not afraid to face the consequences of our actions. Another reason actions command respect is that they create a sense of reliability. Stoicism teaches that we should strive to be dependable in all aspects of our lives. When people know that we will follow through on our commitments and act with integrity, they come to rely on us. This reliability earns respect because it shows that we are consistent and trustworthy, qualities that are essential for building strong relationships. Stoicism also teaches that actions demonstrate our resilience. While it's easy to talk about overcoming challenges, it's our ability to take action in the face of adversity that truly shows our resilience. When we keep moving forward, even when things are difficult, we earn the respect of those who admire our strength and determination. Stoicism reminds us that resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about continuing to act with purpose and integrity, even when the path is tough. Another important aspect of commanding respect through actions is humility. Stoicism teaches that we should not act out of a desire to show off or impress others. Instead, we should focus on doing what is right, even when no one is watching. This humility in action earns respect because it shows that we are not motivated by ego, but by a genuine desire to live according to our values. People respect those who act with quiet confidence rather than those who seek attention for their deeds. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of persistence in our actions. While words can inspire, it is our persistence in pursuing our goals that truly earns respect. Stoics believe that we should continue to act with determination, even when progress is slow or obstacles arise. This persistence demonstrates our commitment to our values and goals, earning the respect of those who see us as someone who does not give up easily. By showing that we are willing to put in the effort, we build a reputation for being reliable and steadfast. Another lesson from Stoicism is that actions should reflect our integrity. While it's easy to talk about being honest or ethical, it's our actions that truly reveal our integrity. Stoics teach that we should act in accordance with our principles, even when it's difficult or unpopular. When people see that we consistently act with integrity, they respect us for our commitment to doing what is right, rather than what is convenient. Stoicism also teaches that actions should be grounded in self-control. While we may speak about the importance of managing our emotions, it is our ability to act with restraint and control that truly shows our self-mastery. When we respond to situations calmly and thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively, we demonstrate our ability to control our emotions. This self-control earns respect because it shows that we are not easily swayed by external forces, but remain grounded in our values. Another reason actions command respect is that they show our ability to contribute meaningfully. Stoicism teaches that we should strive to be of service to others, not through words alone, but through meaningful action. When we take steps to help those around us or make a positive impact in our community, we earn the respect of others who see that we are not just talking about making a difference, but actively working to do so. This willingness to contribute through action earns respect because it reflects a sense of purpose and responsibility. Stoicism also teaches that actions reflect our commitment to living virtuously. While we can talk about living a moral or ethical life, it is our actions that truly demonstrate our virtues. Whether it's through acts of kindness, honesty, or courage, our actions show others that we are committed to living according to our values. This commitment to virtue earns respect because it shows that we are not just talking about what is right, but actively living it. Another lesson from Stoicism is that actions should be taken with intention. While it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life, Stoics teach that we should act with purpose and mindfulness. When our actions are intentional and thoughtful, we demonstrate that we are not simply going through the motions, but are fully engaged in our lives. This level of mindfulness earns respect because it shows that we are present and purposeful in everything we do. Stoicism also teaches that actions reveal our adaptability. While it's easy to talk about being flexible or open to change, it's our ability to adjust our actions in response to new circumstances that truly shows our adaptability. When we can adapt our behavior to meet the challenges of a changing world, we earn the respect of those who see us as someone who is resilient and capable of growth. Another reason actions command respect is that they show our ability to lead by example. Stoicism teaches that true leadership is not about giving orders or making grand speeches, but about setting an example through our actions. When we act in a way that reflects our values, we inspire others to do the same. This form of leadership earns respect because it shows that we are not just telling others what to do, but actively living the principles we promote. Finally, Stoicism teaches that actions should reflect our commitment to personal growth. While we can talk about the importance of self-improvement, it is our actions that demonstrate our dedication to becoming better versions of ourselves. Whether it's through daily habits, learning from our mistakes, or taking on new challenges, our actions show others that we are serious about growth. This commitment to self-improvement earns respect because it shows that we are not content with staying the same, but are constantly striving to evolve. In conclusion, Stoicism teaches that actions are far more powerful than words when it comes to commanding respect. By living in alignment with our values, acting with consistency and integrity, and demonstrating humility, we earn the respect of those around us, not through what we say, but through what we do. It is through our actions that we reveal our true character and inspire others to respect us for the way we live. As we reflect on the power of actions over words, it becomes clear that living with integrity and purpose often invites external judgment. When we strive to live according to our values, criticism inevitably follows. But for Stoics, criticism is not something to fear or avoid. Instead, it is an opportunity to grow and strengthen our resolve. Stoicism teaches that how we respond to criticism defines our character far more than the words themselves. The ability to handle criticism with grace without losing self-respect is a mark of true strength. Now, we delve into how Stoics face criticism head-on, maintaining both dignity and inner peace. Stoics understand that criticism, whether fair or unfair, is a reflection of the critic's perspective, not a definitive judgment of our worth. By recognizing that we cannot control others' opinions, we release the need to please or defend ourselves at every turn. This detachment from external validation is crucial for maintaining self-respect. When we internalize this Stoic wisdom, we realize that our true value is not determined by what others say, but by how we live in alignment with our principles. Criticism, when taken constructively, is an opportunity for self-improvement. Stoics view feedback, even when harsh, as a chance to reflect on their actions and make adjustments if necessary. Instead of becoming defensive, Stoicism teaches us to approach criticism with humility. By acknowledging that we are not perfect and that we can always grow, we maintain our self-respect while showing a willingness to learn. This mindset earns respect from others, as it demonstrates both maturity and a commitment to personal development. Stoicism also emphasizes that not all criticism is valid or worth internalizing. There will always be critics who are motivated by envy, misunderstanding, or malice. The Stoic approach is to evaluate the criticism objectively. If it contains truth, we can use it for growth, but if it is baseless, we can simply dismiss it without letting it affect our self-worth. This ability to discern between helpful and harmful criticism allows us to protect our self-respect while remaining open to learning from those who offer genuine insights. Another key lesson from Stoicism is the importance of not taking criticism personally. When we react emotionally to criticism, we give others power over our sense of self. Stoicism teaches that by remaining calm and composed in the face of judgment, we retain control over our emotions and our self-perception. This emotional resilience not only protects our self-respect, but also commands respect from others, who see that we are not easily shaken by the opinions of others. Stoicism encourages us to respond to criticism with patience and thoughtfulness, rather than with impulsive reactions. When we take the time to consider the validity of the feedback, we demonstrate self-discipline and maturity. This measured response reflects a deep sense of self-assurance, as we are not rushing to defend ourselves or prove others wrong. By handling criticism with grace and composure, we maintain our dignity and show others that we are confident enough to listen without losing our sense of self. Another aspect of Stoic wisdom is that criticism can serve as a mirror, reflecting areas where we may need to grow. Instead of viewing criticism as an attack, Stoics see it as a tool for self-awareness. By reflecting on the feedback we receive, we can identify blind spots or habits that may need adjustment. This self-awareness, cultivated through the lens of criticism, allows us to evolve without compromising our self-respect. People respect those who are willing to look inward and make changes, rather than those who reject all feedback. Stoicism also teaches that how we respond to criticism can be an opportunity to demonstrate our values. If we react with anger or defensiveness, we may compromise the principles we hold dear. However, by responding with humility, patience, and understanding, we show others that our values are more than just words. They guide our behavior even in challenging situations. This consistency between our values and actions strengthens our self-respect and earns the respect of those around us. One of the most empowering aspects of Stoicism is the recognition that we are responsible for how we interpret criticism. While we cannot control what others say, we have full control over how we choose to perceive and respond to it. By framing criticism as an opportunity for growth, rather than as a threat to our self-worth, we shift from a victim mindset to one of empowerment. This sense of control over our internal world is key to maintaining self-respect in the face of criticism. Stoicism also encourages us to remain focused on our purpose, rather than being distracted by the noise of others' opinions. When we are clear about our goals and values, we are less likely to be swayed by criticism that does not align with our path. By staying grounded in our purpose, we protect our self-respect from being eroded by external judgments. This steadfastness earns respect because it shows that we are not easily deterred by the opinions of others. Another reason Stoics handle criticism without losing self-respect is that they recognize the importance of boundaries. While it is valuable to be open to feedback, Stoicism teaches that we do not have to accept every opinion that comes our way. Setting boundaries around what criticism we choose to engage with allows us to protect our mental and emotional well-being. By knowing when to listen and when to distance ourselves from harmful feedback, we maintain a healthy balance between self-awareness and self-respect. Stoicism also teaches that criticism often reveals more about the critic than the person being criticized. People project their insecurities, fears, and biases onto others, and their criticism can be a reflection of their own unresolved issues. By understanding this, Stoics do not take every piece of criticism to heart. Instead, they assess the motivation behind the feedback and decide whether it is worth considering. This discernment allows Stoics to maintain their self-respect while not being overly affected by the negative opinions of others. Another key Stoic lesson is the importance of focusing on what we can control. We cannot control the judgments or opinions of others, but we can control how we respond. By accepting this reality, we release ourselves from the burden of trying to change or please others. This focus on our own actions and responses helps us maintain our self-respect, as we are no longer dependent on external validation. People respect those who are centered in themselves and do not seek constant approval from others. Stoicism also emphasizes that criticism can be a test of our emotional resilience. When we are criticized, it is easy to react with hurt or anger, but Stoics teach that true strength lies in maintaining our composure. By viewing criticism as an opportunity to practice emotional self-control, we turn a potentially negative experience into a chance for growth. This resilience in the face of criticism earns respect because it shows that we are not easily shaken or thrown off course by the opinions of others. Another aspect of Stoicism is the focus on inner validation rather than seeking approval from others. When we are secure in our values and confident in our decisions, external criticism holds less power over us. Stoics teach that our self-worth should come from living in alignment with our principles, not from the opinions of others. By grounding our self-respect in our own values, we become less vulnerable to criticism, and we demonstrate to others that we are not swayed by external judgments. Stoicism also teaches that criticism can provide valuable insight into how we are perceived by others. While it is important not to let others' opinions define us, understanding how our actions are interpreted can help us improve our communication and relationships. By approaching criticism with curiosity rather than defensiveness, we can gain new perspectives that help us grow. This openness to feedback, combined with the confidence to filter out what is unhelpful, allows us to maintain self-respect while learning from others. Another reason Stoics handle criticism without losing self-respect is their focus on long-term growth rather than short-term comfort. Criticism can be uncomfortable, but Stoics understand that discomfort is often a sign of growth. By embracing the discomfort that comes with feedback, we build resilience and improve over time. This commitment to growth, even when it is challenging, commands respect from others who see that we are dedicated to self-improvement, no matter how difficult it may be. Stoicism also teaches that responding to criticism with gratitude can transform how we experience it. When we view criticism as a gift that offers us the chance to grow, we shift from a mindset of defensiveness to one of appreciation. This gratitude for feedback, even when it is difficult to hear, shows humility and a willingness to learn. By thanking those who offer constructive criticism, we demonstrate both confidence and openness, earning respect from those who see that we are not afraid to face our flaws. Another important lesson from Stoicism is that criticism should not deter us from our path. When we are criticized, it can be tempting to change our course to avoid further judgment. However, Stoicism teaches that we must remain true to our values and goals, regardless of others' opinions. By staying focused on what matters most to us, we show that we are not easily swayed by criticism. This steadfastness earns respect because it shows that we are committed to our principles, even in the face of opposition. Stoicism also reminds us that criticism is a part of life. No matter how well we live or how virtuous our actions, there will always be those who disapprove or misunderstand us. By accepting this reality, we free ourselves from the need to avoid criticism altogether. Stoics teach that the goal is not to avoid criticism, but to handle it with grace and strength. This acceptance of criticism as a natural part of life helps us maintain our self-respect, as we no longer see it as a personal attack, but as an opportunity for growth. Another reason Stoics handle criticism effectively is that they separate their sense of self from the opinions of others. While feedback can provide valuable insights, it does not define who we are. Stoicism teaches that our self-worth comes from within, from living according to our values and acting with integrity. By maintaining this internal sense of self, we are less affected by external judgments. This independence from others' opinions earns respect because it shows that we are confident and self-assured. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of staying calm in the face of criticism. When we react emotionally, we lose control of the situation and may say or do things we regret. By practicing emotional restraint, we show others that we are in control of ourselves, even when criticized. This calmness in the face of judgment not only preserves our self-respect, but also earns the respect of those who admire our ability to stay composed under pressure. Another key lesson from Stoicism is the importance of viewing criticism as a way to strengthen our character. When we face criticism with resilience, humility, and openness, we become stronger and more self-assured. This strength of character is not built by avoiding criticism, but by learning how to handle it without compromising our values. By embracing criticism as a tool for growth, we maintain our self-respect and command the respect of others, who see us as resilient and unwavering in our principles. Stoicism also teaches that handling criticism with grace is a reflection of our inner peace. When we are secure in ourselves and at peace with our choices, criticism does not disturb our sense of equilibrium. This inner peace allows us to respond to criticism with patience and understanding, rather than with defensiveness or anger. By demonstrating this level of inner calm, we earn respect because it shows that we are not easily shaken by the opinions of others. Another reason Stoics handle criticism without losing self-respect is that they focus on what truly matters. Stoicism teaches that our time and energy should be directed toward what is within our control and aligned with our values. Wasting energy on every criticism distracts us from our true purpose. By focusing on what is important and letting go of unnecessary judgments, we maintain our self-respect and command the respect of others who see that we are not easily sidetracked by external noise. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for handling criticism without losing self-respect. By focusing on what we can control, responding with humility and emotional resilience, and remaining grounded in our values, we can turn criticism into an opportunity for growth rather than a source of insecurity. This approach not only strengthens our self-respect, but also earns the admiration of those who witness our ability to face criticism with grace and strength. As we reflect on the importance of handling criticism with grace, it naturally leads us to a related topic that Stoics consider dangerous for self-respect and integrity: gossip. While criticism can sometimes help us grow, gossip is inherently destructive. It corrodes relationships, spreads negativity, and undermines both the speaker and the subject. Stoicism teaches that engaging in gossip not only harms others, but also diminishes our own character. It is a behavior that quickly erodes the respect others have for us, and ultimately, our respect for ourselves. Now, let's explore why Stoics avoid gossip and how it destroys the foundations of respect. Stoics understand that gossip is an indulgence of idle chatter that serves no productive purpose. Engaging in gossip distracts us from meaningful conversations and actions, pulling us away from the Stoic ideal of focusing on what is important. When we engage in gossip, we demonstrate a lack of control over our own speech and attention. This lack of discipline reflects poorly on us, showing others that we are easily swayed by trivial matters. Over time, people lose respect for those who consistently indulge in meaningless talk, knowing that their energy is wasted on negativity rather than constructive action. Another reason Stoics avoid gossip is that it reveals a lack of integrity. When we gossip about others behind their backs, we show that we are willing to speak negatively without offering the chance for defense or clarification. This is not only unfair, but also cowardly. Stoicism teaches that integrity is one of the most important virtues, and gossip undermines this by encouraging dishonesty and disloyalty. People quickly lose respect for someone they perceive as untrustworthy, knowing that if we gossip about others, we are likely to gossip about them as well. Gossip also reflects poorly on our character because it thrives on the misfortune of others. Stoicism teaches that we should strive to uplift those around us, not tear them down. When we gossip, we are actively participating in the destruction of someone's reputation or well-being. This behavior shows a lack of empathy and kindness, which are central to Stoic principles. Instead of rejoicing in others' struggles, Stoics aim to cultivate compassion. People respect those who build others up, not those who take pleasure in spreading harm. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of using speech wisely and intentionally. Gossip, however, is the opposite of intentional communication. It is often impulsive, driven by curiosity or judgment rather than purpose. When we gossip, we lose control over our words, allowing them to be guided by fleeting emotions or the desire to be part of a group. This lack of self-control not only diminishes our own self-respect, but also causes others to see us as unreliable and thoughtless. Respect is earned through careful and deliberate action, not through careless words. Another reason gossip destroys respect is that it breaks trust. Stoicism teaches that trust is the foundation of all meaningful relationships, and once trust is broken, it is difficult to rebuild. When we engage in gossip, we betray the confidence of those we are speaking about, and we also show others that we are not trustworthy. This loss of trust erodes respect because people no longer feel secure confiding in us. They know that their private matters might become the next topic of idle conversation. Stoics avoid gossip because it encourages judgment rather than understanding. Gossip thrives on quick assumptions and incomplete information, often painting a distorted picture of the person being discussed. Instead of seeking to understand others and their struggles, gossip encourages us to pass judgment based on hearsay. Stoicism teaches that we should approach others with empathy and curiosity, seeking to understand their perspective before forming opinions. By avoiding gossip, we maintain a mindset of openness and compassion, which earns us respect for being fair and non-judgmental. Engaging in gossip also diminishes our own sense of self-worth. Stoicism teaches that true confidence and self-respect come from living in alignment with our values. When we gossip, we act against the Stoic principles of kindness, integrity, and self-control. This creates an internal conflict where we know that our actions do not align with who we want to be. Over time, this erodes our self-respect as we become aware that we are acting in a way that is beneath our potential. When we respect ourselves, others are more likely to respect us in return. Gossip also invites chaos into our lives. Stoicism teaches that we should seek tranquility and inner peace, focusing on what is within our control. Gossip, however, thrives on drama and conflict. It pulls us into situations where emotions run high and tensions escalate. By engaging in gossip, we allow ourselves to be swept up in external turmoil, losing our sense of calm and balance. Others respect those who can remain centered and composed in the midst of chaos, rather than those who stir the pot and spread discord. Another reason Stoics avoid gossip is that it wastes time and energy. Stoicism teaches that our time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and it should be used wisely. Gossip is a distraction that pulls us away from meaningful pursuits and self-improvement. When we spend our time talking about others, we miss opportunities to focus on our own growth and well-being. People respect those who use their time productively, and by avoiding gossip, we show that we value our time and the time of others. Gossip also diminishes the quality of our relationships. Stoicism teaches that relationships should be built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. When we engage in gossip, we undermine these foundations by introducing negativity and mistrust into our interactions. Gossip creates an environment of suspicion where people are wary of what is being said about them behind their backs. This erodes the sense of safety and connection that is essential for healthy relationships. People respect those who foster positive and supportive relationships rather than those who contribute to a toxic atmosphere. Stoics also recognize that gossip is often a reflection of our own insecurities. When we gossip about others, it is often because we are trying to distract from our own shortcomings or elevate ourselves by putting others down. Stoicism teaches that true confidence comes from within, not from belittling others. By avoiding gossip, we demonstrate that we are secure in ourselves and do not need to tear others down to feel better. This inner confidence commands respect because it shows that we are focused on our own growth rather than competing with others. Gossip is also a form of judgment, and Stoicism teaches that we should avoid passing judgment on others. We cannot fully understand the struggles or motivations of others, and it is not our place to criticize or condemn them. Gossip, however, encourages us to make snap judgments and spread those judgments to others. By refraining from gossip, we show that we are committed to understanding rather than judging, which earns us respect for being thoughtful and compassionate. Another reason Stoics avoid gossip is that it perpetuates negativity. Gossip is inherently focused on the flaws, mistakes, or misfortunes of others. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what is good and virtuous, both in ourselves and in others. When we engage in gossip, we contribute to a culture of negativity where people are more concerned with tearing each other down than with building each other up. By choosing not to participate in gossip, we promote a more positive and supportive environment, which earns us respect for being a force for good. Stoicism also teaches that we should focus on our own actions and behavior, rather than getting caught up in the actions of others. Gossip distracts us from this focus by encouraging us to scrutinize and discuss the lives of others, often without a full understanding of their circumstances. When we engage in gossip, we shift our attention away from our own growth and development, which ultimately holds us back. By avoiding gossip, we stay focused on our own path, earning respect for our commitment to self-improvement. Another key reason Stoics avoid gossip is that it lacks purpose. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of intentionality in everything we do. Gossip, however, serves no meaningful purpose. It does not solve problems, foster understanding, or contribute to personal growth. Instead, it spreads misinformation and negativity. By choosing not to engage in gossip, we show that we are focused on actions that have real value and impact. This sense of purpose commands respect because it shows that we are not easily distracted by trivial matters. Stoics also avoid gossip because it encourages comparison. Gossip often involves comparing ourselves to others, either to feel superior or to criticize. Stoicism teaches that comparison is harmful because it distracts us from our own journey and fosters feelings of envy or pride. When we engage in gossip, we feed into this cycle of comparison, which erodes both our self-respect and the respect others have for us. By avoiding gossip, we demonstrate that we are focused on our own growth without needing to compare ourselves to others. Another reason gossip destroys respect is that it creates division. Gossip often pits people against each other, spreading rumors and misinformation that cause misunderstandings and conflict. Stoicism teaches that we should strive for harmony and unity, both within ourselves and in our relationships. By avoiding gossip, we contribute to an environment of peace and understanding, where people feel supported rather than torn down. This commitment to fostering harmony earns us respect because it shows that we value connection over division. Gossip also undermines our ability to lead by example. Stoicism teaches that the best way to inspire others is through our actions, not our words. When we engage in gossip, we show that we are not living in alignment with the values we profess. This inconsistency between our words and actions diminishes our credibility and respectability. By avoiding gossip and focusing on living with integrity, we lead by example, earning respect for our authenticity and commitment to our principles. Another key Stoic principle is the importance of self-discipline, and gossip is a direct challenge to this virtue. It is easy to get caught up in gossip, especially when it is part of the social fabric of a group. However, Stoicism teaches that we must exercise self-control, even in the face of temptation. By choosing not to engage in gossip, we demonstrate our ability to control our impulses and focus on what is important. This self-discipline commands respect because it shows that we are not easily swayed by the negative behaviors of others. Stoicism also teaches that we should be mindful of the impact of our words. Gossip often leads to unintended consequences, such as hurt feelings, damaged reputations, and broken relationships. When we engage in gossip, we may not fully understand the harm we are causing, but that does not absolve us of responsibility. By avoiding gossip, we show that we are mindful of the power of our words and are committed to using them wisely. This mindfulness earns respect because it shows that we are considerate of others and aware of the impact of our actions. Another reason gossip is harmful is that it fosters a culture of distrust. When gossip is prevalent, people become wary of sharing their thoughts and feelings, knowing that their words might be twisted or shared without their consent. This erodes the sense of safety and trust that is essential for meaningful relationships. By refusing to engage in gossip, we contribute to a culture of trust and respect, where people feel safe to be themselves without fear of judgment. This commitment to creating a supportive environment earns us respect because it shows that we value trust and authenticity. Gossip also damages our own mental and emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches that we should cultivate inner peace and focus on what is within our control. Gossip, however, pulls us into a cycle of negativity and judgment, which can leave us feeling drained and dissatisfied. When we engage in gossip, we feed into a mindset of criticism and comparison, which ultimately harms our own sense of self-worth. By avoiding gossip, we protect our mental and emotional health, earning respect for our ability to maintain a positive and balanced mindset. Another reason Stoics avoid gossip is that it keeps us from focusing on what truly matters. Stoicism teaches that our time and energy should be spent on actions that contribute to our growth, well-being, and the well-being of others. Gossip, however, is a distraction that pulls us away from these meaningful pursuits. When we engage in gossip, we waste time that could be better spent on personal development or helping others. By avoiding gossip, we show that we are focused on what is important, earning respect for our dedication to living a purposeful life. Stoics avoid gossip because it is inherently destructive to both ourselves and those around us. It erodes trust, undermines relationships, and diminishes our own self-respect. By choosing not to engage in gossip, we demonstrate integrity, empathy, and self-discipline, qualities that command respect from others. Through intentional speech and mindful actions, we build a reputation for being trustworthy and kind, earning the respect of those who value authenticity and positivity. as we leave behind the toxic effects of gossip and its ability to dismantle trust and respect, we shift toward a different yet equally vital Stoic principle: emotional detachment. While avoiding harmful speech is one way to preserve integrity and gain respect, Stoicism also teaches us the importance of mastering our emotional responses. Emotional detachment doesn't mean indifference, but rather controlling our reactions to maintain inner peace and strength. By not allowing external circumstances or others' opinions to dictate our emotions, we build a quiet but powerful sense of respect. Now, let's explore the role emotional detachment plays in gaining respect, using Stoic insights. At the heart of Stoicism is the belief that we should focus on what is within our control and let go of what is not. Our emotions, while valid, are often triggered by things beyond our control. When we allow our emotions to dictate our actions, we give away our power. Emotional detachment teaches us to pause, reflect, and decide how we want to respond, rather than reacting impulsively. This self-control is admired by others, as it shows that we are not easily swayed by fleeting feelings or external pressures. One of the key reasons emotional detachment fosters respect is that it allows us to maintain composure in difficult situations. When faced with stress, conflict, or criticism, many people react emotionally, which can lead to impulsive decisions or unnecessary arguments. Stoicism teaches that by detaching from the immediate emotional response, we can approach challenges with clarity and reason. This calm and thoughtful approach not only protects our peace of mind, but also earns the respect of others, who see us as reliable and level-headed. Emotional detachment also helps us avoid becoming overly attached to outcomes. Stoics believe that we should focus on the effort we put into our actions, rather than becoming fixated on the results, which are often beyond our control. When we become too emotionally invested in a particular outcome, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. By practicing detachment, we free ourselves from the anxiety of chasing results and instead find fulfillment in the process. This calm acceptance of whatever comes earns respect, as it shows that we are not easily rattled by failure or success. Another reason emotional detachment leads to respect is that it prevents us from being controlled by our desires. Stoicism teaches that unchecked desires often lead to poor decisions and inner turmoil. When we are too emotionally attached to what we want, whether it's material possessions, recognition, or approval from others, we risk losing our sense of balance. Emotional detachment helps us manage our desires, allowing us to pursue our goals without becoming consumed by them. This ability to remain focused and centered, even in the pursuit of our ambitions, commands respect because it shows that we are in control of ourselves. Stoicism also teaches that emotional detachment allows us to handle criticism with grace. When we are emotionally attached to how others perceive us, criticism can feel like a personal attack. However, by practicing detachment, we can separate ourselves from the judgment of others and evaluate criticism objectively. This allows us to learn from feedback without becoming defensive or taking it personally. People respect those who can handle criticism calmly and constructively, rather than reacting with anger or hurt. Another key aspect of emotional detachment is that it helps us maintain our values in the face of pressure. In situations where emotions run high, it's easy to compromise our principles in order to avoid conflict or gain approval. However, Stoicism teaches that our values should guide our actions, not our emotions. By practicing emotional detachment, we ensure that we act in alignment with our principles, even when it's difficult. This integrity commands respect because it shows that we are committed to living according to our values, regardless of external circumstances. Emotional detachment also fosters resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, and it's easy to become discouraged or overwhelmed when things don't go as planned. However, Stoics teach that by detaching from the outcome and focusing on what we can control, we can weather life's storms with grace. This resilience in the face of adversity earns respect, as people admire those who can remain calm and determined even when things go wrong. Another reason emotional detachment is key to gaining respect is that it allows us to remain objective. When we are too emotionally invested in a situation, our judgment can become clouded by fear, anger, or desire. Stoicism teaches that emotional detachment helps us see things as they are, without the distortion of our feelings. This objectivity allows us to make better decisions and approach problems with a clear mind. People respect those who can think rationally and avoid being influenced by their emotions. Stoicism also emphasizes that emotional detachment helps us avoid unnecessary drama. When we are overly attached to our emotions, we may find ourselves caught up in conflicts or situations that drain our energy and create tension. By practicing detachment, we can step back from these situations and choose not to engage. This ability to avoid drama and focus on what truly matters earns respect, as it shows that we are not easily pulled into negativity or conflict. Another benefit of emotional detachment is that it helps us maintain healthy relationships. Stoicism teaches that when we are too emotionally attached to others' opinions or actions, we may become overly dependent on their approval or validation. This can lead to unhealthy dynamics where we lose our sense of self. Emotional detachment allows us to interact with others from a place of strength and independence rather than neediness or insecurity. People respect those who can maintain their own identity and self-worth, even in relationships. Emotional detachment also helps us manage expectations. Stoicism teaches that unrealistic expectations often lead to disappointment and frustration. When we are emotionally attached to a specific outcome or to how others should behave, we set ourselves up for disappointment when reality doesn't align with our expectations. By practicing detachment, we can let go of rigid expectations and accept things as they are. This flexibility and acceptance earn respect because it shows that we are not easily thrown off balance by life's unpredictability. Another reason emotional detachment fosters respect is that it helps us avoid taking things personally. Stoicism teaches that other people's actions and words are a reflection of their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences, not necessarily a judgment of us. By detaching from the need to be liked or validated by others, we can avoid being hurt by their behavior. This emotional resilience commands respect because it shows that we are not easily affected by the opinions or actions of others. Emotional detachment also allows us to remain calm in the face of provocation. When others try to push our buttons or provoke an emotional reaction, it's easy to lose our temper or become defensive. However, Stoicism teaches that we are responsible for our own reactions, and that emotional detachment allows us to remain composed, even in the face of provocation. This ability to stay calm under pressure earns respect because it shows that we are in control of our emotions, rather than being controlled by them. Another benefit of emotional detachment is that it allows us to focus on what is truly important. Stoicism teaches that many of the things we become emotionally attached to, whether it's material possessions, status, or recognition, are fleeting and ultimately unimportant. By detaching from these external factors, we can focus on what truly matters, living according to our values, improving ourselves, and contributing to the greater good. This sense of purpose and clarity earns respect because it shows that we are not distracted by superficial concerns. Emotional detachment also fosters patience. When we are emotionally attached to a specific outcome or timeline, we may become impatient or frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as we'd like. Stoicism teaches that by practicing detachment, we can cultivate patience and trust the process, knowing that we have done our part and that the outcome is beyond our control. This patience and calmness in the face of uncertainty earn respect because it shows that we are not easily rattled by delays or setbacks. Another reason emotional detachment commands respect is that it helps us avoid becoming reactive. Stoicism teaches that reacting impulsively to emotions often leads to regret and poor decision-making. By practicing detachment, we create space between the stimulus and our response, allowing us to choose how we want to act, rather than reacting impulsively. This ability to respond thoughtfully and intentionally earns respect because it shows that we are in control of ourselves, even in challenging situations. Emotional detachment also helps us manage fear. Stoicism teaches that fear often arises from attachment to outcomes or the desire to avoid discomfort. When we are emotionally attached to a specific result, we may become paralyzed by the fear of failure or loss. However, by practicing detachment, we can confront our fears with courage and clarity, knowing that we have the strength to handle whatever comes our way. This fearlessness in the face of uncertainty commands respect because it shows that we are not controlled by our fears, but by our values. Another benefit of emotional detachment is that it helps us maintain inner peace. Stoicism teaches that inner peace comes from accepting the things we cannot control and focusing on what we can. When we are emotionally attached to external factors, we may find ourselves in a constant state of anxiety or frustration. By practicing detachment, we can cultivate a sense of calm and contentment, regardless of what is happening around us. This inner peace earns respect because it shows that we are not easily disturbed by external circumstances. Emotional detachment also allows us to maintain perspective. When we are too emotionally invested in a situation, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture and become consumed by temporary challenges or setbacks. Stoicism teaches that by detaching from the immediate emotions of the moment, we can take a step back and see things more clearly. This broader perspective helps us make better decisions and avoid getting caught up in minor frustrations. People respect those who can maintain perspective and avoid being overwhelmed by temporary difficulties. Another reason emotional detachment fosters respect is that it helps us avoid becoming overly defensive. When we are emotionally attached to our ego or self-image, we may react defensively to any perceived criticism or threat. However, Stoicism teaches that by detaching from our need to be right or to protect our ego, we can approach feedback and challenges with an open mind. This openness to growth and self-improvement earns respect because it shows that we are more interested in learning and evolving than in defending our pride. Emotional detachment also helps us maintain humility. Stoicism teaches that we should not become too attached to our achievements or status, as they are often temporary and beyond our control. When we detach from the need for recognition or validation, we remain humble and focused on doing our best, rather than seeking external approval. This humility earns respect because it shows that we are grounded in our values, rather than being driven by ego or ambition. Another benefit of emotional detachment is that it allows us to forgive more easily. When we are emotionally attached to past hurts or grievances, we may find it difficult to let go of resentment or anger. Stoicism teaches that by practicing detachment, we can release these negative emotions and choose to forgive, knowing that holding on to anger only harms ourselves. This ability to forgive and move on commands respect because it shows that we are not held back by grudges, but are focused on moving forward. Emotional detachment also helps us maintain balance in our lives. Stoicism teaches that we should strive for harmony and balance rather than becoming consumed by any one aspect of life. When we are too emotionally attached to work, relationships, or material success, we risk losing sight of the other important areas of our lives. By practicing detachment, we can maintain a healthy balance between our various responsibilities and priorities. This balance earns respect because it shows that we are able to manage our lives with wisdom and perspective. Another reason emotional detachment fosters respect is that it allows us to remain true to ourselves. When we are emotionally attached to others' opinions or approval, we may compromise our values or try to please others at the expense of our own integrity. Stoicism teaches that by detaching from the need for external validation, we can remain authentic and true to our principles. This authenticity commands respect because it shows that we are not swayed by others' expectations, but are committed to living according to our own values. In conclusion, emotional detachment is a powerful tool for gaining respect. By controlling our reactions, maintaining our values, and staying focused on what truly matters, we build a sense of inner strength and peace that others admire. Stoicism teaches that true respect is not earned through emotional outbursts or impulsive reactions, but through calm, thoughtful, and intentional actions. By practicing emotional detachment, we not only protect our own well-being, but also earn the respect of those who see us as grounded, composed, and in control of our lives. As we've explored the harmful habits that can erode the respect you deserve, remember that Stoicism teaches us to live with purpose, integrity, and self-control. By eliminating these negative behaviors and embracing Stoic principles, you not only command respect from others, but more importantly, build a deeper respect for yourself. The path to becoming a person worthy of admiration begins within, by mastering your reactions, choosing your words carefully, and acting with intention. If you found value in these insights, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's one habit you're working on changing, and how has Stoicism helped you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more content like this. There's always more to learn on the journey to self-mastery. Stay grounded, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next one.